apart the tavern in the town and the Mulberry Bush pubs in New Street in 1974. Relatives of those who died gathered alongside survivors. Canon Janet Chapman, who led the service, spoke to Molly Green on BBC WM this morning.
It really sort of was quite awesome as people who had lost loved ones, those who had survived, had actually been there and survived, and those who lived in the city on the night and remembered it and wanted to come and pay their respects. So many people came. We had a very full cathedral last night.
Crowd controls are in force this weekend at Birmingham's New Street station to deal with a big surge in numbers of people going to the Christmas market. Network Rail are expecting 200,000 people a day through the station, and they've hired specialist staff to stop overcrowding. Pat Power from New Street station has told BBC WM what people can expect.
We restrict access to the platform and we restrict access to the concourse level, and then again restrict access to the station. We see the excess of about 200,000 people using the station during the weekends throughout the Christmas market, so it's kind of critical we implement this measure.
As always, it's a big day of sport here on BBC WM. In the Premier League, West Brom travel to Chelsea, and we'll have live commentary from 3 from Stamford Bridge on BBC WM 95.6, the station for commentary this season. Craig Gardner is available again after serving a ban. The Baggies head coach Alan Irvine says he has a game plan, but dangers will come from all over the pitch.
They've got great combination play, they've got clever passers, and eventually they will open you up and create chances. And if they can't do that in free play, they're a massive threat from set plays. So we can't afford to be passive, we can't afford to sit back. We've got to take our opportunities to put Chelsea under pressure with and without the ball.
In the Championship, Wolves host Nottingham Forest. We'll have updates and the game will be live on DAB in the Black Country. Also in the Championship, Blues travel to Rotherham and you can hear that game live on DAB in Birmingham. Finally, in League One today, Walsall travel to Fleetwood. Our build-up to all these games starts at 12 on early kick-off with Das Hale. The weather cloudy with light rain at times, brighter this afternoon though with sunshine and showers, and a top temperature of 14 Celsius, 57 Fahrenheit. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent.
They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
BBC WM 95.6.
Morning, guys. So, has the world gone mad? I think it has. There's just it's been a really quiet week news-wise, right? And it seems they've been saving up all of the news for today. Thank you! This MP who got the sack because of the tweet about the union flags, well, now a lot of the Labour MPs have realised it's a ridiculous reason to sack a woman. And am I the only person? This Mr. Mackay gentleman, he's a football man. I don't know anything about football. He's a football man who's allegedly a racist. Can I say something vaguely controversial? I don't think he's a racist. He sent some texts to a friend and now he's a racist. There's another football man, Dave Whelan, who I'd never heard of. He's defended the Mr. Mackay gentleman, who I'd never heard of, who apparently is a racist but isn't a racist. And now, guess what? They're calling Dave Whelan a racist. Everybody's a racist. I don't think they are racists. I don't think they are. And I'll tell you why in a bit.
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453 00
9956.
BBC WM 95.6.
We'll do the show we were going to do in a second. But football chairman urged to quit over race slurs. You always have to be careful when you talk about race and racism and your defence of those who have been accused of racism, because people will mishear and think that I'm being racist. Well, let's see where we go with this, shall we? Could be a fun morning. This is in the Mail. A multi-millionaire football club chairman accused of making anti-Semitic and racist remarks faced calls to quit last night. Wigan Athletic, apparently that's a football team. I don't know. Where is it? Oh, Wigan, probably. Owner Dave Whelan provoked a storm of criticism by reportedly saying Jews chase money and suggesting it was acceptable to call Chinese people, I'm going to say a word that I won't say again, Chinks. Won't say it again. I just want the story to be out there. Yesterday, the 77-year-old tried to defend himself by insisting he has hundreds and hundreds of Jewish friends. I'm not a racist, but my best friend knows a black man. He's upset people. Now, this all goes back to Malky Mackay, who's another he's a football man, right? And he sent some texts to a friend that were then leaked, nice friend, and used language that could be perceived, had it been tweeted, had it been said publicly, had it been chanted, could be seen as racist. I put to you, we've all sent texts to friends that we wouldn't want broadcast or published. We send things to friends that could be perceived as being racist or homophobic or sexist or whatever. But we send them to our friends because we know that our friends know that we're not being racist or sexist or homophobic. Mr. Whelan is said to have found little offence in messages referring to Cardiff's Malaysian owner Vincent Tan as, the word short for Chinese, or others referring to Jewish people pursuing money. Truthfully, I find little offence in those messages because they were sent to a friend. They were sent one-on-one. Am I hopelessly out of touch with this? 03453 009956. If I'm hopelessly out of touch with this, I'd love to know. It goes back to Mr. Whelan. He'd reportedly told The Guardian the Jews don't like losing money. Now, that in itself could be perceived as being a racist sentence, right? But the next sentence negates that, doesn't it? Nobody likes losing money. The Jews don't like losing money. Nobody likes losing money. That means it's not racist, doesn't it? It's so confusing. Or is it? Is it not just really simple that Malky Mackay, that's a great name. How many M's and A's are in there? Oh, just 2 and 3. Not as many as I thought. Malky Mackay sending his text to a friend, that's not racist. If he'd have come out on Twitter and posted that, if he'd have come on the telly after a football match and said that, if he'd have started a chant in a football stadium, yeah, why not? That would be racist. But sending a text to your mate is not racist. You've done it. You've done it. You've sent texts, you've sent emails to your friends that you wouldn't want broadcast. And you're not a racist, are you? 03453 009956 is the phone number. We can talk about that. It's going to be one of those shows. There's just lots of bits and pieces in the papers today that I'm kind of keen to have a look at. And it'll be great if you could call in. Otherwise, I'm just going to be talking to myself for 3 hours, and nobody wants that, do they? 03453 009956. Now, something else that we can talk about this morning, roadside memorials. You know, you'll drive down a road and you'll see tied to a lamppost maybe a teddy bear or some... They're always dead flowers. They're never kind of like fresh, vibrant flowers. Or there might even be a picture. It's a roadside memorial. My friend wrote a song about roadside memorials. Do you think they should be allowed, or do you think they are distracting and prolonging the misery? Well, one West Midlands man thinks they're good. For the last 13 years, on November the 16th, Nick Taplin has visited the exact spot where his wife, Sharon, was killed in a car accident. Nick joins me now. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
Tell me about Sharon. What was she like?
She would have been a fantastic mother. She was a great wife. Never had a bad word to say for anybody. I'd known her many years before we even started going out. We'd sort of helped each other many times over the years before we actually started a relationship together. She was the same as anyone else would say. She she was kind, caring, didn't have a bad word. She'd always find the good in everybody, I think.
And what happened on November the 16th, 13 years ago?
Well, the day started as any other day. I got up to go to work, gave her a kiss goodbye, said I loved her, and we were planning on meeting that night at a friend's house to go out, have a few drinks. It would have been our first night out since the birth of our son, Owen. And when I finished work, I went to my friend's house to meet her there. She never turned up. I originally thought she was maybe just late, because she was notoriously a late person. She was never on time for anything. And she wasn't there. I tried ringing her mobile but got no answer. I then decided to set off back home to see whether she had actually left or not. She had left. When I got back home, she had left. She had dropped our son off at her mum's house, Pat. And then I decided to drive back towards Banbury, going the back way, thinking that she may have gone a different route. Whilst driving back towards Banbury to see if she'd broken down on the side of the road or anything, I phoned the police and asked them if any accidents had been reported. They said no, but they took my details, which I found a bit odd at the time. Then as I was driving along, the police phoned me back, asked me what car she was driving, which I thought was a bit odd. And then I sort of felt something inside of me. I knew that something wasn't right. But I continued to drive heading back towards Banbury to my friend's house. When I basically came across blue flashing lights in the road, and I stopped my car immediately, ran up to the crash site, and unfortunately came upon Sharon's accident.
Did you found the car?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I'm assuming she wasn't in the car. I'm assuming she'd been removed. But
No. I actually arrived when the emergency services were still there.
Oh God!
So when I arrived, I remember on the day. I remember pushing my way past the police officer, running towards the car, and then other officers, for my own sake, sort of pulled me back from the car, and sort of like kept me away from the car. But yeah, Sharon was still in the car when I arrived.
Do you remember what was going through your head then?
Yeah, kind of. It was just complete shock. I remember the officer pulling me away and telling me, "You don't want to see her like that." Obviously, there were certain words from that night that stick in my mind. And then it was then just a complete shock. I was determined. On the night, I was determined that I was going to go and tell Sharon's mum, Pat, what had happened. I didn't think it right that a strange police officer was to knock on her door and tell her that her daughter had been killed. I felt it was my job to do that, no one else's. So that's probably the hardest thing, and one of the biggest things that stick in my mind of that night.
Nick, are you all right to stick around for... I've got to go and do ironically, I've got to go and do the travel. Can you stick around for a couple of minutes? Because I want to talk about the memorial and kind of the ceremony that you do each year.
Yeah,
Is that
sure.
okay?
Yeah, sure. No.
Thank you, mate. All right, listen, that's Nick Taplin. Oh, dear, what a sad story. We'll find out exactly what he does each year. Roadside memorials, your thoughts on them. Honestly, I've always been kind of against them. But then you hear someone like Nick talking, who's still obviously in a lot of pain. Can we have an honest conversation that might be a little bit uncomfortable this morning? Is that all right? I think we're all mature enough to do this. As long as we're respectful of those who might be affected by this, I think we can speak honestly and openly. I'd love to get your thoughts on roadside memorials, please, and we'll speak more to Nick in a few minutes. 03453 009956. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Kate Nichols. Kate?
Hi there, good morning. On Wolverhampton Road in Albury, it's still looking very slow at Birchley Island. We've got roadworks there. There's various lane closures around Birchley Island that's slowing things down. Do watch out for extra traffic as well, as it's the Motorcycle Live opening day at the NEC today. It opens around 10 o'clock, so watch out for extra traffic around Junction 6 of the M42 and Junction 4 of the M6. And of course, football fans, West Brom fans heading to Chelsea via the M40, just checking that route for you. you. Coping okay at the moment. And the same for Birmingham City fans as well, to Rotherham via the M42, A42 and the M1. No reported problems, but we'll keep you updated. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 Travel on 08453 00 2288.
Iain Lee
on BBC WM
95.6. The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
So, thank you, Kate. We're talking about roadside memorials. We'll get on to racist football men in a bit as well, if you want to have your say on that. But we're talking about roadside memorials. What do you think, Naf? Tacky? Dangerous? Or do you think that they're a powerful way of remembering people that we've lost? We're speaking to Nick Taplin. He was telling us how he came across his wife's fatal car accident 13 years ago. And Nick, you say you just had a 10-week-old baby then?
That's right.
Owen.
Yep.
Flipping heck, mate. I mean, that must have been awful.
Yeah, it was. But as I've told many people in the past, I had a tremendous family around me. Sharon's family were all tremendous. I had some fantastic friends around me that helped out. But the one thing I do tell people is that Owen was 10 weeks old. The accident happened on a Friday night. On Saturday morning, Owen still needed changing. He still needed feeding. Life went on. As harsh as that might sound.
No, not at all.
It's true. Owen still needed looking after.
And I would imagine that the fact, listen, having had boys, I know the babies are a lot of work.
Yes.
I'd imagine that probably helped keep your feet on the ground a little bit.
Yes, it did, definitely. Without the friends and family around me, I wouldn't have coped, without a shadow of a doubt. And even to this day, the same friends and the same family still help me. But yes, it was hard work, but again, it helped me focus on something rather than sort of going into a big, deep, dark depression.
Yeah.
It helped me focus.
Well, I'm sure you and Owen will have a particularly special bond, maybe even slightly deeper than the typical father and son.
Yes, I think we have, yeah. I mean, I've always been mother and father to him for the last 13 years. So yeah, well, I think we are close in a lot of children, their parents, yeah.
When did you start doing this kind of roadside memorial to her?
I'd done it the very first year. I wanted to do something different. I mean, I go up to the road during the day and I put flowers down. There's a great friend of mine, a guy called William, who I used to work with. He always puts flowers there as well, which always makes me smile, the fact that he remembers every year. But I go up there during the day, I put the flowers down, and then I go back up there at the exact time of night. And it was just my way. I think at that particular minute, on that particular day, that's the closest I feel to Sharon.
And what do you do? So you put flowers down, you also do other bits and pieces,
Yeah,
don't you?
I put flowers down, and at the crash site, at the point on the road, I also just spray the words, love you, Shaz, put a heart, and put the date. And I spray that in big white letters.
And when you're doing that, once you've done that,
yep.
Can you describe how you feel? I mean, do you feel more connected to her? Do you feel relief, sadness? What's going on?
No, I feel that's the one time of the year and the one place and the 1 minute of the year that I feel Sharon's up there looking down on us, and I just feel extremely close to her at that particular few minutes. I feel particularly close to her, and I feel like she's there with me, watching me do it.
As it fades,
yep.
and as the flowers wilt and die, what's going on for you then? Is that sad? Is that how does that work for you?
No, it's not. No, the flowers always die. I mean, maybe give it a week, maybe less than that. The flowers die. The farmer will come along. The farmer will cut the hedge. The flowers will disappear. The spray work will stay, depending on the weather. The spray work will stay there. It can stay there for 12 months, very faded, but it can stay there. Sometimes within a couple of months it will fade completely because the weather would have destroyed it.
And has anyone told you, Nick, oi, you can't do that here?
No, I've not, no. Pat, Owen's nan, Sharon's mum, has told me many times that I'm going to get into trouble for it. But I've always said, I'll do it. If someone gets me into trouble, if someone told me I'm not allowed to do it, I've always said I'll go back the next day and finish it off. Nothing will ever stop me doing it.
And you took the boy for the first time
this
year?
Yeah, Owen decided this year he wanted to come with me. I've never taken Owen before. I've always been a great believer that if Owen wants to know something, if Owen's old enough to ask me the question, then he's old enough to get the answer. So yes, he did come with me for the first time this year.
How was he?
He was okay. Owen's very much like me. He likes answers and he likes to understand things, what happened. So he did ask me a few questions this year regarding the accident and regarding certain things, and I gave him honest answers. We had a few tears about it, but no, he's fine. I think he's growing up and he's happy to know things. The rest of us have our own memories of Sharon. Owen has nothing. Owen was, like I say, Owen was only 10 weeks old, so Owen only knows what he hears. So I try to give him the absolute truth.
Nick, can I ask a couple of questions? If these are uncomfortable, you can tell me to get stuffed. Don't you need to let her go? And by letting her go, I don't mean forget about her, but is this doing this every year? Is this not making it more painful for you and for your boy?
No. It's not painful at all. No, I feel close to her at that particular time. I make visits to the cemetery now and again. I go to the cemetery. I put flowers. It's no different to anyone else going up to the cemetery. I don't think there's any time. There isn't a time scale on when you forget a person. People always say, a famous old saying is, time's a great healer. It isn't a great healer. Time doesn't heal anything. You learn to deal with it. Me doing the spray work on the road is my way of dealing with it.
And what about those people, Nick, that say, and I've thought this in the past, being completely honest with you, that these things look tatty, they kind of look, they can look ugly. I feel so uncomfortable saying this to you, but I know that we can have a conversation. And that they can be dangerous, can't they? Because they can be a distraction.
Yes, they can, and I totally agree with those people. I did ask the council many years ago if I could put a stone down on the roadside, and they said no, I couldn't because of safety. And I said fine, no problem. Flowers at the side of the road. I suppose people can, but it's like anything that's on the side. Road sides can be distracting. People have to take their eyes off the road to look at a road sign. In my opinion, it's no different. But again, I don't shove my opinions down other people's throats. It's my opinion. I will do it. I will continue to do it, regardless. I mean, I'm quite lucky so far. I've not met a single person that disapproves of it.
And how's Owen doing? Is he all right?
Yeah, Owen's
he's
fine.
Doing a good job.
He's absolutely fine. He's happy now. He went up there. He done the roadside with me. He said he wants to do it again. I mean, I won't. I'm not one of these people who is constantly up there, constantly putting memorials down. I visit the road once a year, and that's it. I mean, I won't go up to the road again now until next year.
Nick, I really appreciate you sharing your story and being so honest with us.
No problem.
Thank you, mate. Take care. Good luck with that boy, Nick Taplin. You can see more on this story tonight on Midlands Today, BBC One, 6:30 p.m. So, over to you. He was good, Nick, wasn't he? I felt so uncomfortable asking those questions. But there will be people. I have thought this in the past about roadside memorials, that they look a mess. They look naff. That they're dangerous because you're distracted. People don't seem to tidy them up. 03453 00 9956. Let's get your thoughts on this, please. And I think we can be honest. Nick took the kind of the challenges there on the chin. So I think we can be honest and we can speak frankly. We can speak about Nick and we can speak about these things in general. If you've got one, not for you, obviously, that would be weird because you would be a ghost. But if you've got one for a family member or something, then let us go. It's sad when you see like a little teddy tied to a lamppost. 03453 00 9956. Roadside memorials. Are you for or are you again? Oh, and don't worry, I've got plenty of light to go amongst this shade. Trust me.
BBC WM
95.6.
We don't normally play songs on a Saturday, but I've brought in a couple of CDs, so I might play a little bit of music later on. Fancy that? Yeah, sure, guys. Why not? I'm a bit windy pops as well. This morning, I feel hungover. This morning, Jarvis. And
good morning.
Good morning, Jarvis. I've not had a drink for over 10 years, and I woke up this morning and felt hungover. How does that happen?
Are you dehydrated?
I could be dehydrated. Is that what that would be?
Yep.
When was the last time you had a hangover?
Don't know. The nature of my job, I don't get a chance to have a hangover.
What are you?
I'm a driving instructor.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen, the driving instructor who never gets hangovers. So we can do that as well. When was the last time you had a hangover? I've not had a hangover for 10 years and 3 weeks and 2 days. But boy, oh boy, I feel like I've got one now. 03453 009956. You've called in about roadside memorials, Jarvis. What would you like to say, sir?
I was saying to the young lady, now, I had, my son got killed for 15, this Christmas will be 15 years.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry.
And initially, you go and you do things, but then you get to the point where, as I said to her, the emotions don't go away, the pain doesn't go away. Going to the spot, for me, it was a question of thinking, you know what, it becomes, I don't know what it is. For me, I had to stop, and no one, the other members of the family, when I said, I don't think we agreed, whether for me or for otherwise, we just stopped going. The first couple of years I would go, and you'd go and you do things, and but then it get to the point where, for me, I won't say it didn't make sense. It didn't make the pain any less, because going there on the anniversary of the birthday or the accident, the memories are always in your face, always in your head.
Did it go in there, Jarvis? Sorry to interrupt. Going there on the anniversaries, did it make it worse? Was it like scratching at a wound that was almost healing, and then you'd kind of go and rip the scab off?
To a large degree, it felt like that. So you're going back to the scene of the situation, and I mean, for birthdays, whether it's his birthday, or the anniversary, if you went, it just, for me, it made matters, as you said, it brought it back to the surface even more prominent than it would have been just living with it on a day-to-day. Living with it on a day-to-day basis, you exist, because something like that, pain doesn't go, well, you get used to the pain don't go away. And so I'm not saying the memorial is good or bad. If some people feel as though it makes them feel better, then it's a psychological thing for them.
Can I ask, Jarvis, and again, if I ask anything you don't want to answer, then that's absolutely fine. How old was your boy when he died?
15 and a half.
15 and a half.
And he was in a car being chased with the police.
Oh, was he a bit of a bad boy? And that's not in any way justifying what happened at all.
No. To a large degree, yes, because when the kids were little, whichever one sat at the front, I would let them help me steer the car or help to show them how to change gear. So he got banned from driving at 14.
He got banned from driving at 14?
Yeah, he never touched my car. He never touched his mum's car. But what happened, he would always find a group of people who matched his desires, and there were kids who would take cars. He could drive because he had the mental awareness. And as a youngster, he'd ask me all sorts of questions about driving. And I would tell him, because if you, in your job, if your son said to you that, what does that lever does, what that lever does, you explain to him. You don't expect him at some point to go in a sound studio and start messing about. So he would ask questions about driving, and I would explain to him how it works and things like that. So he, being a clever lad, he got the mental knowledge, and then he got the practical knowledge from wherever he could get it from. And as I said, his mum's car he never touched. My car we never had to hide the keys from him. But he just got into a group of people who was of like mine, and that's basically the situation.
And when you lose a kid at 15, I mean, I've got my two boys, and you know they're the most precious thing in the world. When you lose your kid at 15, how, as a family, as a father, how the hell do you cope with that?
You live. You just can't. It's one of those things where I would say to someone, when it's sudden and tragic, you do not get over it. You learn to live. You learn to cope. You learn to exist. You learn to prioritize life, and just as that chap says, his son, being a baby, had to go on with life. For me, I carried on. I'd always remember. The funeral was the one day I went back to work on the following day. People said, "Why do you take time off?" And I said, "Well, and do what?" To me, I had to have my normality was living my life the way I would normally do. It doesn't mean that there's no pain. It doesn't mean there's no grief. there's no heartache. All those things carry on. But for me, sitting around pining ain't going to cure me, ain't going to heal me. Just getting on with life and accepting that what happened has happened.
Jarvis, I wasn't expecting a call like yours today. Thank you very much.
Okay, take it. Before you go...
Yeah, go on.
Going back to the Dave Whelan and the other...
Oh, the Dave Whelan and Malky Mackay, these are the racist, in inverted commas, racist texts.
Anything taken out of context, and I'm a black man, right? And things taken out of context can have a different meaning. And you have those liberal people, liberal do-gooders who will say everything I think is wrong. And I wasn't there, but I heard what Dave Whelan said, and he says, and it used to be the joke where people call you a Jew if you think because they think you're tight with money, and they said Jews are tight with money. And he was saying basically, well, Jews are supposed to love money.
But what he also said, the thing is, and we have moved on, and to say that in a public forum, Jews don't like losing money is probably inappropriate. But he then goes on to say, nobody likes losing money. So he's saying we all hate losing money, which is true, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Jarvis, you must have sent texts or emails or said things to a mate that if they were made public, people could say you were racist or you were sexist or anything.
Of course, you said things, and some things taken out of context have a complete different meaning, and people can twist things to make it mean what they want to say.
Jarvis, we've got to move on. Thank you. Two different stories there, but he's brought that up, so we'll look at that a bit. This is the text that Malky Mackay, he's a football man, what a great name, sent to a friend, and they've somehow been leaked. Hey, good friend. And they've been perceived as being racist and sexist. Well, yeah, they are, but it doesn't make him a racist or a sexist, does it? Because you've got texts on your phone that, if they were published, would make you look racist or sexist or homophobic or sexually aggressive or whatever. We all have, haven't we? I wouldn't want people to go through the messages on my phone. Flip it, heck. We've all got it. Malky Mackay, I mean, I don't know. From the evidence we've been presented, Malky Mackay is not a racist. From the evidence we've been presented, Dave Whelan is not a racist. I mean, who knows what they do in their spare time? Maybe they've got secret racist rooms where they walk around in bed sheets with pictures of black people on fire. I don't know. Until we know that, they're not racists from the evidence that has been presented to us. 03453 009956. Back to roadside memorials. Stay there, Malcolm. We'll come to you in a second. It's Matt first. Morning, Matt.
Hello there. How are you doing, Iain?
I'm good, thank you, Matt. What you got for us?
Well, this is November, you see, and I wanted to keep it in people's memory. My missus was killed in Moseley Village about 5 years ago. The lorry was parked at the traffic lights, and he took off a little bit too fast. He didn't do the due care and attention. And he pulled the lorry right over, although at the inquest he said he never felt anything. But anyway, we'll get away from that. The first year, my family put something up there, something on the pole there, I think, but after that they didn't. I think if that man wants to do what he's doing by putting thing and getting some comfort from it, that's entirely up to him. Now, it is not an eyesore, it is not nothing, because you said people looking at it. Good drivers do not look, they glance,
Matt, you see
and it would remind them that there was somebody killed along there, and they would be more careful.
Matt, if your eyes are distracted for even a second, that's not good. And also, a lot of them do look awful, because once the flowers die, no one generally goes and takes them down. And it does look, it looks horrible.
Well, I don't think you'll have anyone complaining today about that.
Well, let's ask Malcolm. Malcolm?
Yes, sir.
What do you reckon? Do they look awful, these roadside memorials?
Well, I suppose they do in a way, but, I mean, I agree with you about most of these things, but I don't think there's any need for any memorials whatsoever.
Oh, go on.
Because the spirits of those people are with you all the time. They see what you're doing and everything. And if they need to be consoled, if the person who's worried and doesn't really understand, I mean, we know we get a lot of people who don't believe in mediums and all this. But if they can get to a proper medium and one that is genuine, they will converse and allay what they're worried about. You see?
Well...
you see? You don't believe it, do you?
No, I don't. Matt, have you gone? Matt's just Matt's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. You scared him off, Malcolm, with your...
I told you some people don't believe in all this.
Yeah, well, because with the greatest of respect, I'm not going to be respectful. You can't speak to dead people. I mean, you can speak to dead people, but they're not going to speak back because mediums don't work.
No, well, I think they do because I've had it proved to me. I've had it proved to me some time ago about things that I know. And this person could never have knew because they was up in Newcastle and I live down here.
Oh. Well, listen, if it works for you, it's great. You know, if that's what you believe in, it's great. But I don't believe that's true. Now, listen, my dad died last year.
Yeah.
And if I need to speak to my dad, I can speak to... I quite often chat to him in the car.
Well, that's it. He can hear you. He's listening to you. Realistically, I don't think he can hear me. What with him being dead and all. Yeah, but they do. The spirits are with you. If you feel a tingling sensation when you're sitting quiet or by yourself
I've just got dead
around
leg.
the head, you know they're there behind you.
No, I mean, I wish I had your belief, Malcolm, but unfortunately science has illustrated that that's all bunkum.
Well, they do, don't. That's their job. That's their job to prove everything's all bunkum.
No, it's their job to prove. It's their job to prove things.
Yeah, but who's to say they're right? Who's to say anybody's right?
The facts and the results of their experiments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the sign.
The facts say they're right, Malcolm.
Yeah, but if you go to somebody and he tells you something from somebody that only you yourself know, then. It's got to be true, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, but if he tells you 100 things and one of them is true, then...
No, well, most of them say are true. What this guy said to me was most things what I know of down here was true. When I was in the forces, and I even spoke to the two guys that died in the boat.
No, you didn't.
Of me, and he's, and things like that. Now, he wouldn't know nothing about this.
But Malcolm, without having heard a recording of the conversation, these people are very, very good at picking up on what you say and extrapolating and expanding and filling in the gaps. So I don't know how much information... You didn't just walk in there, sit down, say nothing, and he went, your name is Malcolm, and you had two men die on a boat with you, and their names were Steve and Paolo, and they are here now. You would have given him information. Probably without you realising it.
That part could be. He could be right, but he told me things about where I lived down here as a child, which he could never have possibly known, and my wife's relations would never have known because I'd only just met her, and I didn't even know the relations that well to mention anything like that.
Get me a good psychic, Malcolm. Prove it to me. Prove it to me.
Well, I can't prove it to you because I don't really know of any psychics down here. I can't afford to go to some of them. This one just lived up by one of the relatives up there.
OK, Malcolm, thank you very much indeed. So, I put this challenge out every now and then. I'll put it out again. I don't believe in psychics. It is bullshine. You want to prove me wrong? Come on and tell me some stuff. Come on and tell me some stuff that isn't on Wikipedia or Google. And then I might start believing you. 03453 009956. I do love, I would love for someone to come and prove to me that, there is life on the other side and that those we have lost are there and are watching us. But you know what? Here's my feeling. When you die, that's it. The light goes off. The game is over. No more credits, dear listener. That's it. Unless a psychic can come on and prove it. Hey, if you know a really good psychic that can do it, get them to give me a call. I'll pop round and see them. But you won't because it don't work. I had a psychic on another radio station I worked on, and he was rubbish. He was really... kind of floundering in the dark, and he said, well, I can see you're in a relationship. I went, yeah. He said, that's going to end in the next few months. I was like, all right, okay. And he was going on about how it was going to end in the next few months, and we went to a record. We played a record, and while we were playing the record, I said, yeah, I'm going to propose to this girl in 2 weeks' time, so you're completely wrong. We came back from the record and he said, yeah, I just want to... Actually, I think there's going to be a significant change in your relationship in a couple of weeks. I just told him that I was going to propose to her. Psychics, come on, guys. We're better than that, aren't we? It's 2014. 03. Whenever we do this show, it always seems to go back to psychic phenomenon. You're cleverer than that, aren't you? You don't believe in that nonsense, do you, Frida?
Yes, I do.
Oh, flippin' heck. It's a load of old guff.
No, it's not. Trust me. I would say it was a load of old guff, right?
Yes.
If I turned around and I was walking down the street and somebody could come and stop you, and you don't even know them, and they can give you a reading. They're not looking for money. It's just something that's been given to pass on.
When have you ever been... What street are you walking down where strangers are coming up to you and giving you readings?
No,
Psychic
this is
Street.
what can happen.
Where?
No, I've been to a medium.
That's never
happened.
happened.
I've been to a medium. I've been to one of the medium, churches, whatever they call them, right?
Right, yeah.
Anyway, I've been there.
And what happened?
They shouldn't know anything about me or my family. They should know anything before I was even born, but it's given to them.
Yeah, but
it's not them. It's what comes in. They say the prayers and, things like that. It's exactly the same. They sing, they pray, and then you have a reading, and it's whoever, comes in at that time to give that reading to.
Hey, listen, I've just had a text. Can I read you this text, Frida?
Yes, carry on.
Iain, I love you so much. But I told my friend to listen to you because you are so funny. Blimey, today, so morbid. Please lighten up or they will think I'm stupid. We need to lighten things up. Do you know what we're going to do?
What are you going to do?
Do you like the Beatles?
Oh, God, yeah.
You like the Beatles? Shall we play a
You
Beatles
love
song?
me, yeah, you love me, yeah.
What? I tell you what, for Paula and her friend, shall we play a Beatles song?
Go on then.
That will lighten everybody up, won't it? Here we go.
It's been a hard day's night, and I'm running like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a log. But when I get home to you, I find the thing that you do will make me feel all right. You know I work all day to get you money to buy your thing, and it's worth it just to hear you say you're gonna give me everything. So why you love to come home? 'Cause when I get you alone, you know I'll be okay. And I'm home, everything seems to be right. When I'm home, feeling you holding me tight.
Here we go. For you, Paula.
Day's night, I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a log. But when I get home to you, I find the thing that you do will make me feel all right.
This is for you, Paula. It's not the Beatles' original version, you may have noticed. Sorry about that, I haven't got that with me. It's Mrs. Miller. I've got a whole album of this.
When I'm home, everything seems to be right. When I'm home, feel you holding me tight. Yeah. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a log. But when I get home to you, I find the thing that you do make me feel all right. You know I feel all right. You know I feel all right.
Right, let's get the travel news now. Here's Kate.
Thank you. We're starting on the M42. It's looking busy in both directions now, heading to the NEC. Of course, it's a motorcycle live event there today, opening day. So northbound slow from junctions 5 to 6, and southbound you'll hit the queues from junctions 7 through to 6. Now in Dudley, it's looking very busy on Dudley Southern Bypass on the westbound side. This is between Blackacre Road and the Cinderbank Island, looking very slow along that stretch this morning. Same on the Wolverhampton Road through Albury. We've got delays on the southbound side. This is at Birchley Island. We've got roadworks roadworks there. I've had reports of lane closures around the island that's slowing things down. In Albury was on the A38, we're getting reports of an accident at the Tamworth turn-off. Just waiting for more information from the police on that one. Do watch out for extra traffic in the city centre today. Of course, it's the Frankfurt Christmas market. It opens at around 10 o'clock. Now, there's no restrictions or road closures, but a large number of visitors are expected that could cause delays in the city centre. And, of course, football fans, West Brom fans heading to Chelsea by the M40. Looking OK so far this morning. Just check that route for you. Birmingham City fans to Rotherham as well by the M42, A42 and the M1 is looking fine. But if you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 Travel on 08453 00 2288.
Middleton, Mile O, Moseley, Oldbury, Pattingham.
Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM
95.6.
Where were we, Frida?
Well, you're going on a mad one.
I just Paula was upset because it was a bit of a morbid show, so I thought I'd play the Beatles. Unfortunately, I haven't got the Beatles CD with me, so I just had to. The first thing I could find was that. So
yeah, but that was great. That was a cheer up. That was excellent. Even I joined in with my croaky voice.
Oh, you got a croaky voice?
It's. I haven't got a cold or anything. They're just doing some tests on my voice at the moment to why it keeps going like this.
Well, hang on, what?
Did you know when you're born as a baby, you'll know your larynx is like a shape of a butterfly.
I have a what?
You know, I think it's called your larynx. You know, it's right up inside your
your
throat.
larynx? Yeah, I know your larynx.
Yeah.
Your larynx is shaped like a butterfly, is it?
I think that's it. This is what I was told.
Yeah, by a psychic. Yeah, all right, go on.
No, not by a psychic.
By a
but
doctor.
Carry on anyway.
Yes.
Rub it in on me.
I will rub it all over you if you want, Frida. So your larynx is... What's happened to your larynx?
You know when you got this like little shaped butterfly, it's the larynx. It's right up inside your throat. When you're born,
can I tell you, Frida?
that is there.
Frida, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah?
Can I tell you Can I tell you people who I hate?
Who?
I hate people that say flutterby instead of butterfly, and I hate people that say hodgehog. No, hodgehog. Anyway, people that don't say hedgehog properly, and I hate people that say squiggle instead of squirrel.
Squirrel.
Squiggle.
Squirrel.
Squiggle.
Squirrel.
Squiggle.
Squiggle.
Squirrel. So tell me about your larynx.
Well, what it is just that there's a lot.
That's a great chat-up line, isn't it? So, love, do you like the One Show? Tell me about your larynx. Yes.
Oh, God. You know the shape like a butterfly, and you have a little piece of skin. I'm going fast before you come into it again.
Yes.
And it's got like a piece of skin that hangs on to that.
Yes.
As a baby, as you get older,
All right.
it's meant to fall down.
Yeah.
And in my case, it's still there as when I was a baby.
Oh.
So they have to check it.
They should cut
to
it
find
off.
out
Cut it off.
what is going on.
If I were them, I'd cut it off.
You can't cut it off, can you?
Of course you can.
I don't know what they can do.
They could sew it up. Can they not tie it back? Can they not wax it?
I don't know what they're going to do. I'll have to let you know about that
So
one.
does your voice? It just keeps going croaky.
Yeah, it just keeps going like this. And when I cough, it's like as if it hurts even my chest and comes up.
Yeah,
But there's no cold. There's nothing.
Do you really
it's
think?
all part of this.
Do you really think, Frida, we should be wasting taxpayers' money on your butterfly-shaped larynx? Really? When there are people with actual real illnesses out there?
Well, I have WPW.
Oh, my gosh.
What is that? Wolff, Parkinson, White, which is like the same as sudden death. I could go into cardiac.
What?
And I could drop.
What?
So I am a serious patient, thank you.
You've got. Hang on a minute, with Frida. With the greatest of respect, and please to God, part of me wants to say don't do it now, but part of me thinks if you did, there's another award. So you've got what's it called? Wolff, Parkinson, Williams.
Yeah, Wolff, Parkinson, White. It's rare. It is rare.
Wow.
You know the footballer
Yeah.
that's dropped on the pitch.
Oh, yeah, you don't hear about him anymore, do you? Yeah.
No, but this is what I'm saying. I knew
Mwamba,
what he
that was
had
it. Thank you,
straight
Sonia.
away.
Yeah.
I knew he had it straight away, and I said it to my kids. He's got what I've got, and then after that was it. He was given the pacemaker, some kind of pacemaker.
Blimey.
That was a question mark with me a number of occasions. I ended up with 2 operations. The first one didn't work.
So
and what it is, you know the blood. You know your blood. It goes around your heart.
I know the blood. Yeah, it goes around the heart, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and then
the
you
blood.
have an electrical thing that tells you, it's like something that tells the heart the blood is going around, it's circulating right. But then there's another one that is false. The blood hasn't gone around the heart, and what it is, it just makes the heart beat faster and faster, and no blood's going around, which then you could go into a cardiac arrest.
Frida,
It's horrible.
well, Frida, thanks for I didn't think the mood could get any lower after roadside memorials, but you've done that. Thank you, Frida. 03453. She called in with a point. I don't think we got there. Never mind. 03453 009956. Yeah, let's do this.
November 21st, 1974.
The theatre shook and our seats shook and it was a deep rumbling, you know.
The Birmingham pub bombings killed 21 people. 200 more were injured.
During the film, there was the incredible sound of what we thought was thunder, and the whole building shook.
By now I could hear a million sirens outside. It sounded like chaos.
The Birmingham pub bombings, 40 years on.
I just remember being lifted from a seat and then just the noise, the screams.
Listen again online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
Now, ambulance services across the West Midlands could be crippled. That's the warning being given ahead of a mass walkout of paramedics set to take place on Monday morning over an ongoing dispute with the government over pay and shift breaks. I love your thoughts on this. Should paramedics, emergency services, be allowed to strike? Staff are set to strike from 7am to 11am, with operational staff only responding to calls reporting serious health problems, road collisions and kids under 16 in need of medical care. Well, Ray Salmon is a regional organiser for Unison. Morning, Ray.
Morning, Ian.
So what's the strike for?
It's very, very simply that the government have refused to accept the recommendations of the pay review body, and that means that yet again, for probably the fourth year running, we've got staff across the NHS who've not had a pay rise.
Well, you do get a pay rise, don't you? But you kind of get a standard pay rise, don't you?
No, what they're doing is they're trying to confuse people. When you start working, say for example, a newly qualified nurse would move into band 5 of the pay scales.
Yes.
They're newly qualified, and then what they do is year on year they take on additional training, usually specialist training of the area that they're working in, and in return for passing that, they get additional payments. They're called increments. And depending on what pay grade you're in, you could have 3 or up to 7 increments, depending where you are on the pay scales. Now, what the government are saying is that those staff who have had increments, they're having a pay rise. Yet it's not a pay rise, what most people would understand, because that's a reward for taking on additional responsibilities. So those staff haven't had a pay rise, and the staff who are at the top of the pay bands, who are not getting increments, they've had a one-off payment, which is equivalent to 1% of their basic salary, and that's just for 12 months. Then next year they don't get that. So the reality is they haven't had a cost of living pay rise. Their wages are not keeping pace with inflation.
How many people have voted for this strike? Because the last health union strike, which I think was in October, only 1 in 10 workers backed it, didn't they?
It depends which union. There's 14 unions are taking part in this, in the dispute. It depends which set of figures you're looking at. I haven't actually got the figures to hand. I think within Unison we had something like 20-25% of members who voted in favour of the action.
And what do you think about Jeremy Hunt's argument, the Health Secretary, saying that if this pay rise was granted, then 14,000 nurses would be laid off?
Well, I don't know where he gets those figures from. I mean, the reality is there's a shortage of nurses, and there's nursing vacancies across the country. So there are problems at the moment, but whilst those vacancies are there, there's significant savings to the government because they're not paying the wages. But they quote these figures, and unfortunately this is the problem we have with the government. They play with figures. They don't deal with the realities of life. And the realities of life is, particularly with the ambulance service, is that the government have been making cutbacks across the NHS, and the one service that is always there and has to respond is the ambulance service. And we've been warning for years that the pressure that's being placed on the ambulance service is intolerable, and the government have got to do something about it. Now, they've refused to do that. Now they're refusing to pay the staff, so consequently the staff are saying enough's enough, we're taking action.
Is it selfish, Ray? Because it is putting lives at risk, isn't it?
Potentially this could put lives at risk, although we have got contingency plans in place, and people who take strike action on Monday will respond from the picket lines. And we have got people who will be working up at trust headquarters, so that if there are calls that come in they can't cover, we will respond people from the picket line. So people shouldn't be at risk. Let's put it that way. It's not selfish. I mean, people go to work in the health service because they want to help people, but you have to have practical realities in life. The cost of living's going up year on year, and you can have all these good intentions, but ultimately you have to pay the bills. And a lot of people are telling us that year on year now, they're finding it more and more difficult to pay the bills. They've got to a stage where they've got to do something, and the government are just not listening.
And will the public support this, Ray, or do you think they'll be critical of emergency staff going on strike?
No, the support we've had from the public has been fantastic. I mean, I think the public recognise the value of the health service and definitely the value of paramedics. And they know that these people don't take action lightly. You know, they know that they put the patients first. So the support we've had from the public has been fantastic. It seems that the only people who are criticising us are MPs, but what you have to remember is these MPs had an independent pay review and it come back and says that you should get an 11% pay rise. Now, we've criticised the MPs and says, well, hang on a minute, don't tell us we're selfish, don't tell us we're foolish, don't tell us there's anything going wrong. Why are you accepting your 11%? And their response was, it's an independent pay review and we've got no control over what they recommend. But the NHS had an independent pay review and the government just ignored it. So it's a double standard from the MPs.
Ray, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. Ray Salmon, Regional Organiser for Unison in this region. I guess it's over to you, dear listener. I don't guess. I know it's over to you. I say guess to sound more personable. Should emergency services be allowed to go on strike? Do you think this is selfish, or do you think, well, no, good on them? I guess the thing is, the only thing they've got to protest with is their labour, isn't it? Is the only thing they can do to show they're unhappy is to withdraw their labour. The police can't strike, can they? I think that's a thing. The police can't strike. Didn't they sign something years ago that banned them from striking? But it would appear that emergency, the paramedics and fire men, no, we don't call them that anymore. Women, no. Fire people. What do we call the firemen these days? There's a word for it, isn't there? Why can't I remember it? 03453 009956. What do we call firemen in 2014? There's a question. They're allowed to strike. They're always on strike. Not always, but quite often. Do you support them? Do you think they should get a pay rise, or do you think, nah? Have we heard back from Paula? Did she enjoy the Beatles? Because I've got plenty more where that came from, including this. Am I allowed to do this? It's in the newspaper, so I'm guessing I am. Producer Simon's looking worried. Producer Jo isn't here. She's bunking off. So we've got Simon in. I've got to say, he's doing a blooming good job. It's great to work with a professional for a change. Thank you. I can do this, Simon. And if we can't, it'll be you that gets in trouble. It's a map. It's a map. It's just a map. That's all it is. It's just a map in the sun. Fancy taking a trip to Ticklecock Bridge? Our look at rude Britannia continues with another selection of vulgar village and road names, this time from the Midlands. It's local and vocal. It's local rude place names. The marvellous map of great British place names. Wow, can I get this for Christmas, Mum? We can help you. These are all kind of local-ish. Well, hang on a minute, not local. We can help you find Nob Hill. Nothing wrong with that. Rutland. Wham Bottom Lane. Ladyhole. These are real places. Where do you live, Ladyhole? What? Fanny Barks. And there's a place in West Yorkshire I probably can't say called Pisser. So those are some of the rude place names that are there. Those things are out there. We might do a few more of those later. I know. Hey, listen, if you want to give us a call, now is an excellent time to give us a call. Because we haven't got any. 03453, I'm just being honest. 03453 009956. These racist football men, in inverted commas, because I don't think they are racist. You've got stuff on your phones that you wouldn't want other people to see. Roadside memorials, are they ugly? Are they unattractive? Do they look awful? And I guess we can do rude place names, bearing in mind that, you know, my job is on the line here if you muff this up for me, guys. 03453 009956.
The 2014 BBC Local Radio Station of the Year. BBC WM 95.6.
10 o'clock, let's get the news now. Here's Nicole Pullman.
Officers from the West Midlands Counter-Terrorism Unit have arrested a man at Heathrow Airport. The 19-year-old is being held on suspicion of preparing for acts of terrorism, and officers were waiting for him as he got off a flight from Jordan. He's from Coventry and is currently in custody at an undisclosed location in the West Midlands. Hundreds of people were at Birmingham Cathedral last night for the memorial service marking the 40th anniversary of the Birmingham pub bombings. 21 people were killed and 182 injured when IRA bombs ripped apart the tavern in the town and the Mulberry Bush in New Street in 1974. Relatives of those who died gathered alongside survivors. The bombs were planted by the IRA, but many of those who were caught in the blast were from Birmingham's Irish community, including two brothers, Desmond and Eugene Riley. John Cassidy was their friend.
We have very fond memories of those two boys. Fishing, football, the usual things that boys do at a young, tender age. And it was a terrible, terrible tragedy and a very, very sad occasion. So we cannot forget those two boys, ever.
The Labour leader Ed Miliband has made a concerted effort to appease his party's core voters after one of his front benchers was accused of snobbery for posting an image of a house flying England flags during the Rochester and Stroud by-election. Emily Thornberry has resigned as Shadow Attorney General, but Mr Miliband was forced to insist that Labour remained the party of working people. As always, it's a big day of sport here on BBC WM. In the Premier League, West Brom travel to Chelsea and we'll have live commentary from 3 from Stamford Bridge on BBC WM 95.6, the station for commentary this season. Craig Gardner is available again after serving a ban. The Baggies head coach Alan Irvine says he has a game plan, but dangers will come from all over the pitch.
They've got great combination play, they've got clever passers, and eventually they will open you up and create chances. And if they can't do that in free play, they're a massive threat from set plays. So we can't afford to be passive. We can't afford to sit back. We've got to take our opportunities to put Chelsea under pressure with and without the ball.
In the Championship, Wolves host Nottingham Forest. We'll have updates and the game will be live on DAB in the Black Country. Also in the Championship, Blues travel to Rotherham and you can hear that game live on DAB in Birmingham. Finally, in League One today, Walsall travel to Fleetwood. Our build-up to all these games starts at 12 on early kick-off with Daz Hale. The weather cloudy with light rain at times, brighter this afternoon with sunshine and showers, and a top temperature of 14 Celsius, 57 Fahrenheit. A cloudy evening and night with outbreaks of rain at times, with the rain likely to become heavier and more persistent during the night. It'll become very misty too overnight with a minimum temperature of 4 Celsius, 39 Fahrenheit. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The Voice. The Voice. The Voice. The Voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
BBC WM 95.6.
Thank you, Nicole. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6. Lots to talk about, dear listener. Racism in football, I mean, anyone else feeling sorry for that Labour MP what lost her job for taking a picture of a horrible-looking house with some horrible flags out the front? Ed Miliband was asked, what do you think of when you see a white van? Do you know what his answer was? Respect. That's what he said! So, Ed, what do you think of when you see a white van? Respect? No, you don't! Not if it was parked next door to your house, Ed. You'd think, I wish they would respect me and move. Woman lost her job. Also talking about roadside memorials. Oh, and any old nonsense you want to phone in with. I know that some of the stuff we're talking about is quite heavy, but any old stuff you want to talk about, you can give us a call. 03453 009956.
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453 009956.
BBC WM 95.6.
You can can call in about anything you want. That's the way this show works. We put this stuff out, and it just seems that we have a few serious bits and pieces lined up. We've got something quite serious now. But you can call in about anything you want. We're quite good on this show, and you're quite good as a listener, quantum leaping from the ridiculous to the sublime to the surreal to the quite intense. For example, should we put a stop to animal testing? A debate that's raged for years, and research published this week which shows that mice are obviously used for lab tests and humans are genetically further apart than first thought. It's thought that the study, conducted by American scientists, so it must be good, may help explain why more than 90% of new medicines pass animal tests but fail human trials. Well, we're joined now by Tom Holder. He's founder of Speaking of Research, a group which defends the importance of animal research, and Dr. Nick Palmer, Director of Policy for the British Union for the Abolition of Vivisection. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning.
Tom,
Good morning.
Tom, let's start with you. Does this US study not show that the animal the research, animal experiments, aren't actually as useful as perhaps we first thought?
Well, Nature, in fact, published 4 studies at the same time. And to quote the editorial in Nature, the findings validate the importance of the mouse as a model organism for ongoing disease studies. And understanding genomic regulation in mice is an essential step towards better understanding of human biology and improving biomedical applications and drug development. I think what we've seen is certain individuals jumping on a few lines in one of these papers without fully understanding what's going on here.
Nick, what do you think?
I think the research is very valuable because what it's done is it's reinforced the scientific case that we've been making for many years. The BUAV is motivated by animal welfare considerations, but we've always worked with a team of scientists and with industry to try to make sure that the replacement of animal experiments actually accelerates the discovery of drugs for people. And what the research has shown, to quote one of the leading researchers, he said, when I read the paper, I was stunned by just how bad the mouse data really are. It's really amazing, no correlation at all. Now, when I was a Member of Parliament, I had a joint project with the Association of the British Pharmaceutical Industry and the BUAV to identify areas where industry was just wasting its time doing unnecessary experiments because they were required by the regulators. And what's happening is that medicines that would genuinely help people are being blocked because they don't work for mice. Now, I'm very fond of mice, but the priority needs to be to find medicines that are relevant for humans, and that's why we need a shift in how we approach science to concentrate on humans rather than on animals that don't simulate us.
Tom?
Well, a paper which has been published in joint by members of his own organisation says that animal models may not be leading to the loss of potentially valuable drugs through false positives, because that's what their results showed. They were not leading to any losses. The reality is that 98% of the medicines we use are developed thanks to animal research. Probably more in reality when it comes down, well, we don't test homeopathy, but if you think of anything from the polio vaccine, insulin from diabetics, anesthetics, penicillin, the list goes on. Or if we look very recently, there was a stem cell transplant that had been pioneered in rats and dogs that was allowing a person to walk again for the first time. Hopefully this paralysis treatment will now be rolled out much more widely. We found that a stem cell treatment for macular degeneration, which is a leading cause of blindness, has had huge success in humans, having been developed in both monkeys and mice.
And Nick, I guess that's the thing, that there are examples of treatments and medicines that have come about starting from the point of vivisection, of animal experiments.
At the moment, the problem is scientists go where the money is, and at the moment, if you want to work in research on human diseases, the way to get the money is to do an animal experiment. And therefore, if you keep working at it, sooner or later you'll come up with a treatment that helps humans, which you've tested on animals. But what we need for the sake of people is work which is directly beneficial to people.
What's the alternative, Nick?
But rather than being rooted in the technology of a century ago, and a lot of the examples that Mr. Holder's quoting go back to the early part of the 20th century, we should be using modern techniques, and we should be making sure that the money is there, both to reduce the suffering for animals and to speed up the provision of cures for people. Because people are being delayed. People are suffering, Nick, because it's being delayed.
What are the alternatives? Are you suggesting that we start trials earlier on humans?
No, what I'm suggesting is that we use the huge range of alternative testing which the alternative tests are designed to use human cell cultures to simulate the effect on humans. And that tells us a lot more than studying whether something works on a mouse or not. If we were trying to cure disease in mice, that would make sense, but we're trying to cure disease in humans.
Is part of your beef with it, Nick, the cruelty aspect?
Yeah, I mean, that's what motivates us. But nobody's accusing the researchers of deliberate cruelty. What we're saying is that unnecessary suffering is being caused because the regulations and the funding is pushing them into this archaic approach rather than the modern techniques which scientists actually want.
And Tom, I suppose it is cruel to test out things on animals and to breed animals that have certain conditions so that you can try and treat them. How do you defend that aspect of it?
Well, I think we have a moral duty to do this work. The reality is that humans and animals, as all veterinary medicine is developed through animal research, humans and animals are suffering a variety of ills around the world, and we do have the ability to treat it. Dr. Palmer accused me of saying examples which were decades ago, and yet the last two I gave came from October. So we're still seeing animals play a vital role today in the treatments of modern medicine. And the scientists themselves are very much on side. A Nature poll of scientists from varying areas showed that 92% believed animal research was essential and only 3% did not. We had 4 major inquiries into the ethics and the science of animal research, many of which were at a time when Dr. Palmer was still in Parliament. All 4 of those major inquiries showed that animal research is vital to the development of modern medicine. 91 out of 104 Nobel Prizes have relied on animal research directly. We're seeing the scientific community very, very much in a unified belief that animal research still has a place. That said, the law is very clear. You can only do animal research where there is no viable alternative. I'm entirely with Nick on using them alternatives wherever we can, but they simply don't exist for all animal research.
Go on, Nick, I heard you try and come in. What were you trying to say?
There are 4.1 million experiments on animals every year in Britain.
Blimey.
They are monitored by 22 people. There is no realistic control of what is going on except at the level of individual institutions. And as the BUAV investigations have shown, the individual institutions are often failing to follow their own rules. We need to move forward to use techniques which are directly designed to help humans rather than the Victorian approach of trying something on a mouse or on a rat or on a rabbit and hoping that it will benefit humans.
Gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I know you've got to go, Nick, so we'll end it there. Dr. Nick Palmer, last voice you heard there, Director of Policy for the British Union for the Abolition of Vivisection, and Tom Holder, founder of Speaking of Research Group, which defends the importance of animal research. Over to you. My thought changes on this, pretty much day to day. When I was a young, idealistic teenager, I was well against vivisection and would sign all the leaflets and sign all the... what do they call that thing? Petitions, that's the word, isn't it? Yes. And then as I kind of got older, I don't know. I couldn't do it. I couldn't look in a monkey's eyes and inject cancer into its brain. Is that what they do? I don't know. But I couldn't do it. But my mum's got MS, right? And if they found a cure for MS or something that would slow it down through animal research, then I'd kind of... Oh, it's a confusing one, isn't it? Can you help me try and get my head around this, please? 03453 009956. Vivisection, thumbs up or thumbs down? Let's get the travel news now. Here's Kate Nichols.
Thank you. Well, quite busy now. The M6 South, there's a lane closed on the entry slip road at junction 13 because of a multi-vehicle accident. So this is causing some problems, some delays. The M40 as well, southbound. We've got a broken down vehicle between junction 16 at Henley and Arden and junction 15. So lane 1 is closed. Although traffic doesn't seem to be looking too bad, actually. It's coping pretty well along that stretch at the moment. M42 is still queuing southbound. Now, there was an accident earlier between junctions 7 and 6 heading towards the NEC. All lanes have reopened, but it's still very slow as traffic heads to the motorcycle live event at the NEC. That's also causing delays northbound between junction 5 at Solihull through to junction 6. Now in Albury, there's still queues on Wolverhampton Road southbound at Birchley Island. We've got roadworks there, and there's some lane closures in place around Birchley Island that's slowing things down. And in Dudley, Dudley Southern Bypass on the westbound side, very busy this morning between Blackacre Road and Cinderbank Island. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 Travel on 08453 002288.
Pete Morgan at breakfast.
I want to introduce you to Jenny. Jenny Bragg from Solihull went into labour 15 weeks prematurely last December.
I thought I was having a miscarriage. But he kicked, so...
Really?
He sent me a sign, yeah. So he was then rushed to Birmingham Children's Hospital, which was devastating. He had lots of surgery. He had 7 surgeries in total. And he's now sitting, and he's doing what 7.5 months old a baby should be doing.
Darren is in Northfield. Morning, Darren.
It's just fantastic what the hospitals can do for these little... Yeah, I've still got the teddy bear that was bigger than her when she was born.
He is a fighter, just like all the other premature babies out there.
Indeed.
Pete Morgan at breakfast.
Monday to Friday, 6 till 9.
BBC WM 95.6.
I've got really bad indigestion. Really bad. I tell you, I stayed in a hotel last night. I had the hotel buffet breakfast. I don't normally do it. And I thought, do you know what? Live a little, Lee. Live a little. I went out the buffet breakfast, and of course you eat more than you intend to eat at the buffet breakfast because you kind of think, well, you know, I can keep going. I went up 3 times. I've had about 7 sausages and 4 rashers of bacon. Now, for someone who has only just started eating meat this year, that's a lot. And I'm getting a fatty. I'm getting a fat belly. And I've got indigestion. And I might be a bit windy, Pop, so I apologise in advance, Mary. I do apologise, but I've just, 03453 009956. What would you like to say, Mary?
Years ago when I went undercover about the beagle dogs, I think they were.
Oh, yeah.
Experimenting. All the puppies were at the front and all the old dogs that had been through it all were at the back.
Yeah.
And they were old dogs, and they had 50 injections a day, and because somebody was undercover, what happened was, because they wouldn't keep still, these dogs, they'd punch them really hard. And I thought, if that was my dad, I'd go nuts. I've got to be careful with my language.
Well, yeah, but I think from what I hear that the animal testing is a lot more regulated now.
Yeah.
And that they have to be more respectful to the animal. What were they testing these beagles for?
I can't remember. It was a long time. I wish I'd kept it. But I know they were punching them to keep them still, which is wrong. The other thing is, you know, people eat meat, you just brought up.
Yeah.
I don't eat meat, but I'm on tablets, so...
Meat tablets?
No, I'm on tablets for breathing and things.
All right.
But they went undercover recently about killing animals for meat.
Yeah.
And they were hurting them before they stunned them and putting cigarettes out on them.
No, that's not good. Why don't you eat meat, Mary?
I just can't eat meat. It's dead flesh to me.
But lovely. I had 7 sausages this morning.
And I'll still cook meat for my boyfriend.
Yeah. Your boyfriend likes meat?
Yes.
And so you give your boyfriend meat?
Yes.
But he doesn't give you meat?
No.
No? OK. I do. How long you been a veggie for?
Oh, God, years.
I was a vegetarian for 26 years.
Gosh, what's made you change?
I love meat. I tell you what made me change, right? I cook meat for my boys. They're 4 and 2. and I would just have a tiny, tiny little bit on the end of my tongue to make sure it was cooked, make sure it wasn't too hot, make sure it had been cooked properly, OK? Because I can't tell by looking at meat whether it's cooked. So I just put the tip of my tongue. And there was some bolognese that my wife had made, and I was heating it up for them, and I just had a little bit on my tongue, and I went, ooh, something in me, Mary, just shivered. And so I had a little bit more. I ate the whole thing. It was delicious.
You only tested it. You're supposed to only test it for the boys.
Yeah, I know. I ended up eating the whole thing. And it was delicious. And then the next day I had a steak, my first ever steak. Not the next day, it was a few weeks later because I was keeping it secret. It was like I was gambling behind my wife's back or having an affair. I was just going off having little bits of meat without telling her. And then she cooked me a steak. Oh, Mary, I'd never had a steak until the age of 40. Oh, man, you meat eaters kept that secret. It's the most amazing. I was sucking it. I was sucking the juice off of this bit of meat. It was delicious.
No, I'd vomit.
No, you wouldn't. You'd love it. It was like the next day. The next day, I felt alive. It was like I'd taken acid or some powerful drug. I felt alive. I could see colours. I felt positive. I felt energetic. It was wonderful.
No, it's not for me. But let
me slip you a sausage.
Ooh.
Steady.
Oh no, it's a family show.
Steady, Mary. So, are you for or against animal testing if the animals are treated properly?
I'm sitting on the fence with that one. I mean, it's got to go on.
Yeah.
For medicine, but I'd rather they didn't do it and belt them and things.
I would rather they didn't do it and belt them and things as well, Mary. Happy to slip your sausage any time you want. I'll be driving through Coventry later on, so if you change your mind between now and 12, let us know. 03453 009956. We should. I don't think we do. We still test like shampoo and lipstick on animals? Does that still? I don't think that happens anymore. Does it? No, because that's obviously wrong. You know, although some of those monkeys with a bit of red lippy on and some blusher, wowzers, they's good-looking monkeys, innit? Jan's on the line. Good morning, Jan.
Good morning.
What would you like to say, Jan?
I think we've got the perfect subject for testing instead of testing on animals, and that's those who are in prison convicted of murdering other people.
Murdering other people, specifically? Yeah. OK. Well, this isn't communist China.
No, but somehow we have to test and develop medication to cure people of a lot of awful illnesses.
Yeah.
People who take someone else's life and go into prison, and we pay for them to stay in prison for however long, possibly for the rest of their life. Surely we could utilise those people, and part of the punishment would become, OK, if you're in prison and you are convicted, such as the Moors murderers, where it is absolutely undoubted, you surrender your rights and you are tested for the good of other people.
Is that not a little bit cruel?
Life is cruel in every way, isn't it? Life is cruel for people.
We don't have to make it crueler, though, do we? And we're not certain states in America where we execute people, thank God. We're not China, where they probably do that. They probably do that in China. We've kind of got standards, haven't we?
But they gave up their standards. They've taken the life of somebody else. The ultimate return on that is to give the life to a person who's really ill.
It sits really uncomfortably with me, and I think it's wrong, Jan, but I haven't got a really good argument for why that's wrong.
No, that's fine. And it is just my opinion. Everybody has their own opinions. That is mine.
Jan, listen, let's put it out there. Let's see what people say. I feel that's wrong. I know that's wrong, but I can't explain why that's wrong. I haven't got a good argument as to why I think Jan is talking the P, the C, the poppycock. 03453 009956 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call on that. We can't go around testing stuff on criminals. Hey, did you ever do... There was a thing when I was at college to be a sperm donor, 15 quid a shot. Beautiful. Didn't do it. All that money I wasted. But also to go and test drugs. Have drugs tested out on you. No, not the fun ones. The medicinal ones. Drug trials. You could earn quite well for the drug trials. You could do quite well. You could get a few quid out of that. Did you ever do that? They go and test loads of things on you, and sometimes, fingers crossed, you'd get the placebo. 03453 009956. And then there was the case, wasn't there, about 4 years ago, of those lads that were having a drug test and they turned into elephant men. Do you remember that? Did that actually happen? I think it did. 03453 009956. Here's a story in The Sun. Mum's bumpy pumpy. Oh. Sex on baby unit. A couple were caught having sex in a hospital bed while waiting to have their baby induced. Now, it sounds ridiculous, but if you have been late having a baby, i.e. it took a while for it to pop out, not that you're just really, really old, they say have a curry or go and have the thing that made the baby in the first place. The heavily pregnant woman, the story continues, and her partner were discovered by a cleaner who heard moaning coming from a private room. Here's my advice. If you hear moaning coming from a private room, never go in there. She reported it, but was told bosses had no rules against romping on the maternity ward. Instead, their policy is to tell Randy Couples. Randy Couples. I used to go to school with a kid called Randy Couples. I didn't. To tell Randy Couples to put a do not disturb sign on the door. A source at St Michael's Hospital in Bristol, that's where it happened, is it? Right, I'm going down there. Revealed other patients on the unit heard the commotion and were upset. The cleaner was utterly shocked. How noisy were they being? I told you once when I was staying in a hotel here in Brum. I thought a woman was being attacked. It woke me up at 3 a.m. I thought, God, someone's being attacked. And then I listened more intently. It was not an attacking that was taking place. She was amazed, the cleaner, to be told it was OK. The hospital's advice appears to be just to put a sign up. A hospital spokesman said staff work hard to ensure privacy and dignity is maintained for all patients. This is a genuine tip, though. Tip being the operative word. If your baby is late coming, then you should be having it away, because that makes it. That induces the baby robbing. You knew that, didn't you?
What was that?
If you did you hear anything I just said?
Yeah, about inducing babies through sex.
Yes.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah.
Apparently so. Have you got babies, Robin?
I've got a 3-year-old daughter.
Hey, fantastic. And did you have to induce her using either the curry or the sex method?
We had curry.
I'm at the age now where if either of those things are an offer to me, I'd go for the curry as well, if I'm completely honest. Robin, what would you like to say?
Originally I wanted to talk about roadside memorials.
We can talk about anything you want, fella. We've got literally no other calls, so I could be talking to you until midday.
Okay. Well, I wanted to say about the roadside. You're talking about the roadside memorials and about the what do you call them? The guy called up about the psych people. The
psychics.
The psychics, yeah.
Yes.
Though I don't believe in the fact that they can talk to the dead, I do believe that psychosocially, for people that are struggling with bereavement and that, it can help in the fact that it can relieve some of their stress and anxieties about missing their loved ones.
Yeah.
So I don't think putting it down is a bit unfair to people that might believe it. We've all got to have a belief. And we've all got to be able to believe in something. And if that's not a God, if that's not anything, as long as you believe that you've actually had contact with this person, you might have had things that you've not been able to say to this person before they've died. So I've been able to say that and put it out there but could relieve some of that stress.
Yeah, but if the psychic is lying to them, that's manipulative, isn't it? That's preying on their frailties and their weaknesses.
I don't think so. Not always. Depends on how much they're paying. They're paying for that. But also, think of them like psychologically. It would help.
Well, go and see a counsellor. The thing is, right, I had stuff I didn't say to my... Actually, I'd said most of the stuff to my dad. We kind of sorted it all out. But I can speak to my dad. I don't need to go and pay a psychic. Or here's a trick. You can write a letter to the dead person.
Yeah.
And then burn it. No, seriously, that's a trick. That's kind of a thing that you get it off your chest. Just the thought of sitting in a room with some old dear or some old fella and them going, well, now, your dad says he loves you very much and he's really sorry for all the bad things that happened, but he's looking down on you and your boys, and he wants to know that he is very, very proud of you, Iain. He is very, very proud of you, and he wishes you the greatest of success, and he can see great things coming your way.
I just think that
please.
some people aren't as psychologically strong as that, and I think that having someone reiterate what they've said to them, and maybe giving them a bit of hope would help. Anyway, I think sometimes.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think a counsellor can always do that.
No.
And it's sort of that belief sort of fact, and it's like having a god to them, isn't it? Really, it's not like
I suppose so. I do just I suppose so. I'd listen. I'd love a psychic to come on and prove to me that psychics work.
I'm not 200% sure that a psychic can talk to the dead.
I'm not 200% sure either. No, I don't think they can.
But the other thing I wanted to talk about was the paramedics and their. Oh, what was it? The strike.
You're having the same thing I'm having. How old are you, Robin?
I'm 23. 25, sorry. I said 23.
Yeah, exactly. 25. You're having the same thing as me. I can't remember basic words. It's
no.
I couldn't remember what we call firemen anymore. And Louise,
I thought it was like fire officers, but I'm not.
No, it's not. It is. Louise. It's firefighters.
Firefighters, yeah.
I don't
know. I don't know. I can remember that.
No, I don't know what this is. Is anybody else having trouble remembering words today? Because I'm all over the shop. Robin's all over the shop. We weren't at a drugs party together last night, were we, Robin?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay. Well, in that case, yes, I thought I remember going back to my room and listening to the radio and sleeping. I don't remember taking large quantities of hallucinogenics. Anyway, 03453 009956. Yes, the paramedic strike.
Well, I was a practicing nurse for 2 years, which eventually affected my mental health. So I've actually left nursing for the time being. I'm aiming to go back into it.
Can I ask how and why it affected your mental health?
It was caring for people. I worked on a cancer unit.
Oh dear! Yeah.
And having a lot of people die, quite a lot of people very sick, not seeing many people recover. I think it just affected me after a long period of time.
Yeah, I can imagine it would.
So you talk about the pay and things like that. It does sort of matter about pay, because then when you can't go home and you can't enjoy yourself and you can't take your mind off the things you do see at work, it does affect you more, because then you're more depressed and you're worried about how you're going to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But as a practicing nurse, and a lot of practicing nurses, they cannot strike as well. So I think it's a very good action that the paramedics are taking in striking.
Is it not a bit selfish, Robin?
I don't think it is, no. I don't think it is. I think we've struggled for a very long time financially.
Yeah.
I think, and as well, that's going to affect people wanting to go into the job. If you're not going to have a pay rise each year, which, as it was spoken about earlier, before I just turned the radio off, it was spoken about, we have our increments. Yes, we do have our increments, but they're not often very big. And they are, as they said, for our training.
Okay.
As anyone else would get training, you get further training and you'd get paid more.
Yeah. All right, Robin, listen, thank you. I've got to move on because, we have got another call, 03453 009956. I've just seen a great thing in the paper. Oh, I've just seen a great thing. You know the white van man who is the reason that this MP has stood down, because she took a picture of his house and there was the Union... the flag of St George was hanging out there. Three of them. Three filthy, dirty, horrible flags of St George and a white van. The white van man's published his manifesto, his Danifesto. I'm guessing his name's Dan. Dan lays out his no-nonsense plan for a better Britain. Turns out she was probably right. We'll go through that in a bit. Let's go to Darren first. Morning, Darren.
How are you, Iain?
Are you in the shower?
No, I'm on the way to the hospital.
Oh, you're all right?
Yeah, I'm going to see my newborn daughter.
Hey, Darren! When was she born?
Yesterday morning at 10 to 12.
Beautiful. Is everyone healthy and well?
Yeah, everything's well. She's really well.
Oh,
thank you.
mate, how exciting is that?
Yeah,
Congratulations.
brilliant.
Is it your first one?
Yes, it is.
Oh man, your life is about to change. It's going to be hard work, but it's you've just started the best journey you could ever start, Darren.
Yeah, I'm on cloud 9.
I bet you are. When do you know? Are they coming home today?
No, possibly tomorrow.
Okay.
Possibly Monday because she had a C-section.
Oh, okay. But it'd probably be Monday in that case, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Darren, best of luck. Well done.
Cheers.
What you got for us?
My mum's into psychics,
oh, dear.
but I'm not really that sceptical because I've seen one psychic before.
Yeah.
And she says about I'd be going to Switzerland. Now, I was like, Switzerland?
Yeah.
What have I got to do with that? Oh, you're beginning on business. But then I seen another psychic.
Who said you'll never go to Switzerland on business?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, they come out. Some of them come out with some silly things.
What did the second psychic say?
I'd have a child in the next year or so.
And did that happen?
Yep.
Boom! How long ago did you see the Swiss psychic?
2.5 years ago.
Well, you might... The thing is, these are very open-ended statements, aren't they, Darren?
But she said in the next 3 to 5 years.
Right, well, hang on. It was only 2.5 years ago then. So so far, she's right.
Yeah.
So far, she is spot on.
Well, she could be, but I don't know. Myself, I couldn't see that.
Right, what I need you to do, Darren, where are we now? It's 2014. In the middle of 2017...
Yeah.
Could you give me a call and let me know if you've been to Switzerland or not? Would you be able to do that?
Yeah.
Darren, listen, go and be with your baby. Go and have fun.
Penn, Pensnet,
Rugeley, Redditch,
Rowley Regis. Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM
95.6.
Anyone else think it's ridiculous that this Labour MP the shadow had to step down because she posted a picture on Twitter of what was a horrible-looking house with horrible-looking flags outside and a dirty white van? Ed Miliband was asked, what do you think of, Ed, when you see white vans? His answer was, respect. No, you don't. You don't think respect when you see a white... You certainly wouldn't think respect if you saw a white van parked next door to you for 3 months. Anyway, this woman stood down and some of the Labour MPs... she's been called a snob. The thing is, she didn't say anything in the tweet, did she? Didn't say anything. Anyway, the gentleman who owns that house and that white van is really milking this. I mean, is taking advantage of this. No, is making a great opportunity out of this. The white van man, mocked by Labour millionaire Emily Thornberry, ventured into the heartland of Labour's elite yesterday, hoping for an apology. Taken there by the Sun, who had a camera. He left empty-handed. Sun reader Dan Ware, 37? I'm older than him? When I saw him yesterday, I could have sworn he was 52. I'm older than Dan Ware, who's written his Danifesto. Sun reader Dan Ware, 37, arrived outside her 4-storey mansion in Islington, North London, in his old Ford Transit, hoping to ask the MP about the sneering tweet which led to her having to quit as Shadow Attorney General. She's lost her job, fella. Can we not leave it at that? Proudly holding a flag of St George outside her £3 million home, which has been ruined by having the words "The Sun" written across it, the flag, not the home. He said, "She took a mocking picture of my house, so I've come to hers to hear an apology, but she's nowhere to be seen." He's written his Danifesto. I'll go through it in a bit. You're right, John.
Hello there. All right, Ian.
I'm all right. Can you... I feel sorry for Emily Thornberry.
Hello, I just £3 million out.
Sorry?
I worked all my life. I was a swinging teenager 4 years ago, and I can't afford a house.
What, swinging teenager?
4 years ago, I was a swinging teenager, but I got an old age pensioner's bus pass now. I don't know how to get there.
Time flies. I was 17 just a few weeks ago. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, well, I can't keep up with it because nobody sent me a bottle of brandy for my birthday.
Do you not?
I've lost count.
She's lost her job because she took a picture and tweeted it.
Yeah, so she should and all.
What for? What did she do wrong?
She shouldn't go around doing things like that.
What, taking pictures?
Yes, it's a disgrace.
But what did she do that was so wrong?
Well, would you like to come around taking pictures of your house and put them all over the press?
Well, she didn't put it all over the press. She tweeted it.
Tweeted whatever she's done with it.
Well, I've taken pictures of buildings and tweeted them before.
Well, not private houses, surely.
I might have done.
Well, I know you should be locked up.
Sorry?
You should be locked up. You're doing things like that, Iain.
I'll lock you up, John.
Okay.
Thank you. What have you got for us?
Psyches.
Yes.
That's it. Some years ago, there was a female used to come on another radio station in Birmingham regular, and with one of the presenters, and people used to phone in and give her the date of birth, and she used to say, tell people on the radio.
What I like to call old-fashioned lazy radio. But carry on, yeah.
But she was telling them all what they were going to get, and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And we were in this little pub, and she came in with the presenter in the little lounge, and there was three of us standing behind the bar, and the barmaid. Those were the only people that were in there. And the one lad said to us, "What's your birth sign?" I said, "Virgo." And he said to Paul, "What's your birth sign?" He said, "Virgo." And Madge, the barmaid, was a Virgo. So he said to her, he kept biting this woman, and he said, "Come on, let's see how good you are. You're a phony." And she kept on, and in the end, he says, "There's three Virgos over here, come on." And in the end, she stormed over, and she goes over his hand, and she was looking at his hand and the lifeline, and she going, "Yes, I can see, yes, you are a Virgo, it's a typical Virgo. You're having an affair with you're a married man having an affair." He says, "No, I'm not." She says, "I'm having two affairs." She went on and on. He let her go on for about 3 or 4 minutes. He said, "I told you it was a phony." He said, "What do you want about?" She says, I'm a Cancerian. You said there was 3 Virgos over." He said, "Yeah, them 2 lads there, the barmaid." And she shouted up, "I threw better things out of a cornflake box than you in the morning." And she stormed out of the pub.
She was pwned. She was pwned by him, by a liar. It's all rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't believe in him. I mean, I go down to the bookies most days, and he keeps telling me to get some money back to my raise. I never get any.
John, stay there. Dave?
Yeah.
Dave, you're not annoyed with John, are you?
I'm just annoyed with the show, the station over the last 2 days.
Hang on a second then, John. We'll say goodbye. I think he's annoyed with me.
Okay.
See you later, John. Ta-ta. Bye-bye. Thank you. Go on, Dave.
It's just the station over the last few days. I've worked all my life. I've set a good business up. We only drive white vans. I don't even possess a car, so even if I went to the shops, I'd drive a white van. Right? I've got 3 houses. I've done well in life. I've got a flagpole on the back of one of the houses.
Oh, blimey.
With flying across St George, and I'm proud of that flag. I'm proud of the Union flag, which Danny Kelly yesterday said it was a Union Jack, which was wrong. But by the by,
well, by the by, it is the Union flag, but I've researched this. It has been known as the Union Jack for so long that has now.
It is when it's at sea.
That's now but it's now an acceptable term for the Union flag. But yes, go on.
And everybody everybody's knocked this person saying that Emily Thornbridge, been hard done to.
What has she done wrong, Dave?
She done that to look down on somebody.
How do you know?
Why else would you put it on?
But
she wasn't turning around saying this. She didn't put that photo on to say.
She put image from Rochester.
Why did she take the house next door, or the house next door but one?
Because it's got Union flags flying. Image from Rochester. What I don't see from that. This has been interpreted as being sneering. But from that sentence.
Yesterday morning, Danny Kelly yesterday morning was saying that you hang across St George off a flagpole or out of a window. The next day, it's dirty, grey. Pink red cross.
Well, it is. This fella's flags, Dan.
I'm not disputing that.
They were dirty.
England played twice that week. How do you know that flag stays up there every day?
Because, he's now in the paper every day holding the flag of St George. Listen, I don't care what Danny Kelly said. I don't listen.
But I mean, OK, so maybe, like you say, maybe he's milking it now.
Isn't he just?
Do you know what I mean?
She's lost her job and he's standing outside her house sneering. That's not nice, is it?
No, but if you took a photo of my house, and if you want, I'll send you a photo of my house, right? I look after my houses. My flags I'm looked after. They're tucked in every month and swapped. Right? I'm proud to be English. I'm proud to be British. I've got nothing against race.
But?
You know, my company's called All England.
Oh.
Because we travel all out. Well, we should call it all Britain now because we travel to Scotland as well.
But I don't understand. I've got to go in a second, Dave. So don't think
All
I'm
right,
cutting
mate,
you short.
but I just took it for the last 2 days. Every presenter seems to think that it's okay to knock somebody that's flying across St George outside their house and drive a white van. There's more white vans on the road in this country.
The white van, Dave. The white van bit doesn't bother me. I just know. Sorry.
It did to her.
But we don't know that from this tweet. The two things. Ed Miliband was asked, "What do you think of when you see a white van?" He said, "Respect." What?
Well,
David Cameron and Ed Miliband. If a white van parked, their next door neighbour had a dirty white van parked up on the driveway,
they'd moan.
They would moan. The white van doesn't bother me at all. The flags do bother me a little bit because I just think they look a bit tacky.
I mean, I don't fly mine off the guttering outside the house, I must admit.
Well, then that's that.
Mine's at the bottom of the back garden, the rear garden. It's on a proper flagpole.
All right.
And it's maintained.
Dave, listen, I've got to move on. I appreciate that. I do think it's slightly different if it's not dangling out of a bathroom window. Thank you. 03453 009956. BBC WM 95.6. Let's get the travel, please. Here's Katie.
Thank you. We're just getting reports of an accident at Swinfen Island near Lichfield, the A38. It's blocked at the island there because of an accident and it is causing delays. Just waiting for more information on that one. We'll keep you updated. The M42, very busy southbound. There's been an accident between junctions 7 and 6. That's all now clear. But of course, traffic's heading to the NEC for the motorcycle live event as well. That's not helping the situation. Northbound is very slow from junction 5 at Solihull through to junction 6 as well. We did have some problems on the M40 earlier on the southbound side. There was a broken down vehicle between junction 16 and 15, but that's all now clear. All lanes are open. In Albury, still very busy on the Wolverhampton Road. It's southbound at Birchley Island. We've got some roadworks there and there's some lane closures that's causing some problems. And in Dudley, on Dudley Southern Bypass, the westbound side, very busy between Blackacre Road and Cinderbank Island. So watch out for some queues there. Of course, if you're heading for the football this afternoon, West Bromwich Albion fans heading to Chelsea, the M40, that's looking much better now. Birmingham City fans to Rotherham via the M42. Of course, a little bit slow between 5 and 6. But after then, A42, M1 are looking fine. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel on 08453 002288.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
So she starts. Caroline, I've just discovered that the man that I've called Dad for 30 years isn't my real father.
Because we've told her early, it's never come up in argument. And she said, you've been my dad, and I don't need to go and look for my proper father.
I'm one of 9, and yes, I was the only one that didn't know. My parents didn't tell me because they didn't feel I needed to know.
Right.
Never right time to tell somebody a big shock like that.
You know, he's a great bloke, and I wouldn't swap him for the world.
What would your advice be then to Angie?
Her stepdad, which is the guy that's brought it, I don't care what anyone says, it'll break his heart.
Yeah.
Caroline Martin.
Monday to Friday, 12 till 2.
BBC WM
95.6.
Monday, so good to me. Damon, it was all I hoped it would be. Oh, Monday morning, couldn't guarantee.
voice of Birmingham in the Black Country.
BBC WM
95.6.
So, the monarchy could be fundamentally changed if Prince Charles ever becomes king. That's according to reports this week, because it's believed that the heir to the throne will drop the impartial ruling style 5 by the Queen. Basically, he'll give his opinions on things. He wants to tell people what he thinks, because the Queen never gives her opinion, does she? And he wants to do that. But do you actually care what Prince Charles thinks? I'm going to imagine that this is a generational thing, because my mum probably does, and I'm not sure I do. Ingrid Stewart is editor of Majesty magazine and author of A Century of Royal Children, and joins me now. Morning, Ingrid.
Good morning.
Would this be such a huge fundamental shift in the monarchy if Charles did kind of express his opinion on things?
I think it would be more of a subtle shift in the monarchy, because the Queen has followed the sort of rules set by her father and her grandfather, that in order, if you're monarch, you don't pass any opinion on anything except privately. And that has worked for her. But I think nowadays people expect Prince Charles to be there standing, between the monarchy and politics. He certainly won't talk out about politics, but he feels very strongly about the environment, which we know he does. People close to him say that he will actually continue to speak out.
He has spoken out about things in the past, hasn't he?
Constantly.
The environment, in terms of kind of ecological issues, but also buildings, and the carbuncles, of course, was the great quote from him, wasn't it?
It was the huge quote. It looks like a carbuncle on the face of an old friend, or something like that, with the extension to St Paul's. But he I don't think he will continue to talk about architecture, because that's probably a very touchy subject, and I think when he becomes king he won't do that. But I think he is so concerned with the environment and the world in which we live that he will continue to talk about that.
It's kind of... there was lots of people calling for the Queen to speak out just prior to the Scottish referendum, and she sort of did, didn't she? She kind of said something to a member of the public, and it was assumed that was stage managed, and she knew that would get picked up on, wasn't it?
She said it outside Crathie Church.
Yeah.
And I think it was stage managed, and it did get picked up upon. I think probably that's one of the very few times she has expressed an opinion.
Would anyone listen to Charles?
I think a lot of people will listen to Charles.
What kind of people? Because I said I think it's a generational thing. I imagine that people, my mum's, kind of she's 60-odd, that the people of that generation would, but that younger people, 20s and 30s, perhaps wouldn't be so interested in what he has to say.
Well, no, I disagree. I think they probably would be very interested in what he has to say, because what he says will concern them. I'm sure they're not interested now, but I think they will be, because it will concern them and their future and their children.
Finally, Ingrid, is he ever going to become king? Because the Queen is really, I don't want to say milking it, because that's but she's her final lap is taking a very long time, isn't it? Is Charles definitely going to become king, or is he going to kind of pass that on to William, who really has sort of done the impossible and got re-excited the nation about the royal family, hasn't he?
I don't think for a moment that he will not become king, because it's not a job that you can say, well, I don't want it, I'll let my son take over the business. Abdication is such a dirty word in the British royal family, because of what happened with the Duke of Windsor, and I think he will become king, and I think he will be a very good king. Maybe he won't be king for very long. Maybe he might be king for 10 years and then say, well, I think, I'm going to move over and let William step in. But what he wants for William is to have a normal life and a family life before he takes up this massive responsibility of head of state.
Ingrid, nice to talk to you. Thank you. Ingrid Stewart, editor of Majesty magazine. Would you be interested in what Prince Charles has? I quite like Prince Charles. It sort of goes against all of my my beliefs and my politics. I like the royal family. I shouldn't really. I should want them to be hanging from lampposts throughout London. But I like them. I like the Queen. She seems like a nice old dear. I like the Queen Mum. She had wooden teeth. I like Charles. And I like Kate. 03453 009956. Valerie, do you would you listen to Prince Charles?
Yes, I would, because he will be the next king. And I do think, according to where he lives, Highgrove, he's made it beautiful.
Yeah.
He's a man who likes natural things, So, yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes. Now, the reason I found...
Yes, Valerie.
Ian,
yes.
I know you love cats.
I do love cats. I've got my Velvet, who will be 16 next year. She's getting on a bit, but yes, I love cats.
Well, my kitchen looks across to a newsagent across the road.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, every morning, as you can imagine, men come along with dogs on leads, put them on a pole and go off into the newsagent.
Oh, yeah, the tying the dogs up while they go into the shops has always struck me as a weird thing to do.
Exactly. And on Thursday morning, I thought I could see this little animal sitting outside the newsagent, intently looking at the door.
All right.
And I thought, that's not a dog.
No.
It's a cat.
What?
And I watched it, and then out came this man, scratched it on the top of the head, and off they walked together. Just like two pals.
Hang on a minute. Who walked off together? The man and the cat?
The man and the cat.
He took his cat out for a walk?
His cat came with him to the newsagent, sat outside, looking intently at the door. I was watching for quite some time.
Yes.
And then the man came out, scratched him on the head, and off they went.
Now, was it definitely his cat? Because I do that. If I'm out and I see a cat lying on a wall or lying on the pavement, I'll always have a little chat to it and a little stroke, rub the belly. But then they follow you, don't they?
Yes, I think it was his cat. Because the cat sat
on
looking at that door. He was waiting for somebody.
And the guy bought him a Crunchy or a Curly Whirly or something? No. Hey, there's a thing that the Daily Mail has been short of news this week. So they have done features on cats. That's apparently, if you draw a circle around a cat, the cat will not leave that circle.
Really?
Yeah.
Goodness me.
Isn't that weird? I don't know if that's true. If anyone has a cat and the ability to make a circle, 03453 009956. I guess they leave at some point. Otherwise, you'd see lots of cat skeletons in circles, wouldn't you, where they just died because they were unable to leave. But cats are far more intelligent than dogs.
Well, when I saw this, I thought, yes, Ian's right.
They are.
They are.
They are far more intelligent. The thing is, right, Valerie, have you got any pets?
No,
right.
I can't have any because I have to attend kidney dialysis and I'm out of the house a lot.
Are you not allowed to have pets if you have kidney dialysis?
Oh, you can.
Right, OK.
Yeah, you can, but, it wouldn't be fair to the pet.
Then let me use me as an example for this macabre image I'm about to paint, OK? Supposing I had a cat and a dog, right?
Yeah.
And I lived on my own with these two animals and I died.
Yeah.
Right? The dog would starve to death.
The cat wouldn't.
Because the cat would... What would the cat do?
The cat would get out of the house and go and find some food.
The cat would eat me. The cat would eat me, Valerie. That's why cats win. I'd love my cat to eat me if I died. I think it was quite... romantic's the wrong word. Charming. Valerie, thank you for that. And that's the proof, if ever you wondered, which is the most intelligent, the cat or indeed the dog? So, Prince Charles, would you listen to him? Roadside memorials, psychics, and also... Come on, you must feel sorry for Emily Thornberry. We'll read this gentleman's Danifesto in a bit. Yeah. 03453 009956.
The 2014 BBC Local Radio Station of the Year.
BBC WM 95.6.
It's bang on 11 o'clock. Let's get the news now. Here's Nicole.
West Midlands counter-terrorism officers are questioning a man they arrested after an operation at Heathrow Airport. The 19-year-old is being held on suspicion of preparing for acts of terrorism, and officers were waiting for him as he got off a flight from Jordan. He's from Coventry and is in custody at an undisclosed location in the West Midlands. Labour's spokesman on the economy, Ed Balls, says fines imposed on banks should be used to fund the NHS. He wants £1 billion taken from the banks in penalties to be spent on hospital accident and emergency units.
The NHS is going backwards at the moment. Everybody can see that in the waits at GPs, the problems in A&E, and I think when the government's collecting over £1 billion from banks who did terrible things, let's put that money to good use with an immediate boost now to our NHS. We can spend the money on more nurses and doctors, and we can do action now which will then keep that investment moving as well in the future.
Sport, and as always, it's a big day of sport on BBC WM today. In the Premier League, West Brom travel to Chelsea. We'll have live commentary from 3 from Stamford Bridge on BBC WM 95.6. In the Championship, Wolves host Nottingham Forest. We'll have updates, and the game will be live on DAB in the Black Country. Their new loan striker Danny Graham says he won't feel the pressure of expectation if he makes his debut this afternoon for Wolves. He has an impressive record at Championship level, and says if Wolves are looking to him to score goals, he can handle it.
No pressure. I'm a striker, and that's my job. Whether I'm scoring goals or not scoring, whatever criticism or praise comes my way, I just push it to the side, and it's all about the team. And I've come in, I want to score goals, and I want to do well. And like I say, I want to do well with Wolves, and hopefully we can push up the table.
Also in the Championship, Blues travel to Rotherham, and you can hear that game live on DAB in Birmingham. Finally, in League One today, Walsall travel to Fleetwood. Our build-up to all these games starts at 12 on early kick-off with Daz Hale. The weather cloudy at times with light rain, brighter this afternoon though, sunshine and showers this afternoon, and a top temperature of 14 Celsius, 57 Fahrenheit. A cloudy night with outbreaks of rain at times, with the rain likely to become heavier and more persistent later in the night. Very misty too, with a minimum temperature this evening of 4 Celsius, 39 Fahrenheit. Tomorrow, cloudy with outbreaks of rain during the morning and light winds, drier and brighter in the afternoon, bit like today, and a top temperature tomorrow of 10 Celsius, 50 Fahrenheit. BBC WM 95.6 News. There's more online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country.
You should take in other religions and treat them as you would want to be treated yourself.
We are even more intelligent. They treated me with the utmost respect.
Iain Lee, Saturdays
9 till 12.
Yeah.
BBC WM 95.6.
Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6. I nearly said the wrong station. Ooh. Busy show this morning. Roadside memorials, do they look flipping horrible? Should we ban them? Testing on animals? Who's the more intelligent, the cats or the dogs? I might as well stop there, because that's the one you're going to go for.
Have your say.
Across the West Midlands, call
03453 00
9956.
BBC WM 95.6.
This is the thing, Simon, who's producing today, because Joe is, how can I put this politely, bunking off. We can do all these weighty, heavy topics. Cats versus dogs, that's always going to go. That's always going to be the one that goes, isn't it, Terry?
Hello, yes. Well, I've got 2 cats and a dog, so...
Well, the cats are better than the dogs, aren't they?
Well, they're very independent, and there's a lot of rivalry between all 3 of them, but they still love each other.
Cats, if you died, Terry, we'd all be happy. No, if you died, Terry, the dog would die, the cats would eat your face and your buttocks.
They wouldn't, because there's always somebody here.
Well, OK, so, if everybody in your property died due to, I don't know, maybe you hadn't cooked the salmon properly, you all got food poisoning and you all died, the cats would eat you, the dog would pine and starve to death. How pathetic a creature is the dog.
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't argue with that, because they are basically, there's a little bit of wildness in them,
A factory worker who scooped £1 million on the lottery and went on a 7-month spree has returned home with the world's biggest hangover. Party mad Matt Miles, there's a picture of him in the Sun. He looks like Miranda. There's a picture of him pulling a tiger. Is it? Hang on, tiger. Do you know? I never know the difference between tigers and leopards.
I think it's something to do with the mane and a bit of a bushy tail.
No, no, it's not. A leopard. The only way I can remember, which is
got spots.
Thank you. A leopard never changes its spots. That's the only one, and I have to say that in my head before I say. So there's a picture of him pulling a tiger's tail. Man, I wish I was a millionaire because I want to pull a tiger. And he looks like Miranda, the comedian lady.
I'm saying nothing about Miranda. We're getting back to TVs again. Sorry. Always drop me in it, you
Party
do.
mad Matt Miles jetted off on a round-the-world pub crawl 48 hours after winning the Euro Millions raffle, and he spent £72,000 on booze.
I'd make sure everybody I knew got absolutely, stoned blotto and what, but I couldn't do it.
Fair play to this fella, right?
Yeah.
This is great. Yesterday he revealed how he was forced to return home to Hereford to sober up. He said, "The money has mostly been spent on the pee out having a drink." I mean, why wouldn't you? That's brilliant, isn't it?
Well, not if it's exclusively booze. I mean, come on, there's other things in life than just
he's what? Listen,
peeing your millions up the wall.
He's a 27-year-old bachelor.
Yeah.
He's won £1 million. Let him go and get drunk. We got through nearly £80,000 in less than 8 months. I would say about 90% of that was spent going on the Raz.
Well,
good for him.
With that sort of money, he could pull any bird, he could have any bird in the world.
Well, he's pulling a tiger's tail and he looks like Miranda. What does that tell us?
Oh, I'm saying nothing about that.
Good for him. This is all these people, well, it wouldn't change my life and I'd still go to... No, this fella, he quit work immediately, went around the world for 8 months and spent 80 grand on booze. Brilliant. And the pictures of him, he looks like he's loving it.
Well, good.
He looks like he's loving it.
I mean, they're what is it? They're for the grace of God go I. It's not for me to judge. I wouldn't do it. I'd love £1 million. I mean, I'm a nice little cottage in the country,
exactly.
Plenty of land, and I could take my cat out on the lead.
I'd do all that rubbish. I'd give some to charity. I'd give some to my sister.
Yes,
I'd pay off the mortgage. I'd put loads in a bank for my kids. I'd buy a reliable, sensible car.
Yeah.
This fella, he spent 80 grand on booze. He quit his job, went up yours Delors, and he left and he spent 80 grand on booze. This guy should be... Why is he not on the front page of all the newspapers? This guy is a hero, and our children should look up to him as an inspiration.
No way. I owe you an apology of my millions. I forgot the Cat Protection League, PDSA and the cancer people, so I owe you an apology for that.
I got my cat through the Cat Protection League, so I've always got a very, very soft spot for them all. They're wonderful. Anyway, what's this about you, a cat on a leash?
Well, I don't like, even with the dog, I don't like, these collars around the neck. He wears a bandana, but it's loose. But we have
bandana?
A sort of a tie,
a bandana?
Triangular thing that you tie a knot in it.
You're trying to be posh. You mean a bandana?
Yeah, sorry, a bandana, yes.
A bandana?
Yeah, you say bandana, I'll say bandana.
Did you go and buy the new single, Bandard?
Yes, let's call the whole thing off.
Thank you.
Now we had an arts festival just across the road from Allen Hospital, our art group.
Yeah.
And I thought, bugger it, I'm going to be pretentious. I'm an artist, darling.
Yes.
So he's a lovely little miniature. He won't grow any big. He's tiny, and jet black. So for his little... what do you call them? I forgot.
A bandana.
His little harness on. No, it's only the dog that wears a bandana. And I put his little harness on.
Oh, what, on the cat?
Yeah, on the cat. Put his little red harness on and his little lead and took him on 2 buses.
Do you know, I nearly swore then. I nearly called you a twit, but...
You can call me a...
Twit.
Well, with the first letter of the alphabet in between.
Yes.
You can call me what you like, mate. I would never be offended.
No,
you
I know,
couldn't possibly offend me.
I would offend my bosses and the radio monitoring service, and I would offend my bank by getting the sack. But you are a twit-to-woo.
Oh, I was going to say whoop them. But then again, they are, the powers to be.
Why do you take your cat for a walk with a harness on?
No, I've done it once, but he won't do it. He just won't do it. I'm trying to teach him to learn to sit.
To do what?
Sit.
Sit. Ah, OK, good, yes.
There was a programme on last week of some Martin Clunes, and there's a woman on there, got 2 cats, and he's teaching them to sit. Fabulous programme. I think it was The Secret Life of Dogs and then Secret Life of Cats.
I think it was The Secret Life of Sad People who tried to train their cats to do things.
OK, I'm a sad person. I don't care.
Have you finished, Terry?
Well,
yes, you have. Chris is on the line. Good morning, Chris.
Hello, Ian. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you very much. I had a couple of weeks off through being poorly.
Oh, right, sick note. How is it that, like, the first knee-jerk reaction of somebody does anything wrong, it's, oh, they've got to give them the sack.
Yeah.
Then the following month, job figures are up. Job list figures are up. And then it's kind of like, how many of these job lists are on account of the public demanding that people got sacked? They can't have it both ways.
Well, more people are in work, apparently, but hey, how many of those are zero-hour contracts? Guys, let's not bother making things too messy by asking that question. I feel sorry for this Thornbury woman who lost her job because she sent a tweet, and I still don't quite get what was so bad about the tweet. That bloke's house looked flipping horrible. Those flags looked disgusting. And she's lost her job because of it. And now the Sun are taking this bloke, Dan, to stand outside her house and be smug. We don't... Listen, unless it's someone who's done something really, really, really nasty. Oh, it's 11:11. Unless someone's done something really, really nasty, we don't celebrate the fact that somebody's lost a job just because they're a millionaire. I tell you what's going on here, Chris, right? This is the reverse of what we're supposed to believe Miss Thornbury did, OK? She was supposed to be being snobbish. This is inverted snobbery.
Indeed.
This is because she lives in North London, where I used to live. It's quite well-to-do. She's got a £3 million house, which I never had. And this is inverted snobbery.
It's also envy, isn't it?
Yeah, there's an element of that. Shall we go through... Dan has written his own Danifesto. Shall we go through that together?
Oh, why not?
OK, so the Danifesto. It's surrounded by the flag of St George. Dan lays out his no-nonsense plan for a better Britain. Welfare state. Work for 4 years after you leave school before you can claim benefits. Yeah, because there are loads of jobs for 17, 18, 19-year-olds, aren't there, Dan? Immigration. Copy the Aussies. If people show up uninvited, send them back. The Aussies have got a points system. When they introduced the points system, Chris, guess what happened to the number of people moving into the country?
Go on.
More of them came in. There was more immigration when they got the points system, which UKIP want, than before the points system. Transport. Public transport costs are too high. More investment in roads too. OK, Dan, where's that money going to come from? And here's the best one. Oh, there's this. Here we go. Justice. Tougher sentences for murderers and jail for those who... I had to squint to read this because the type isn't great. Those who burn the poppy. And education, right? This is Dan's Danifesto. Education. Better discipline. Kids are too mouthy now, not like when we had the cane. Ladies and gentlemen, he's an idiot.
How old is Dan?
Dan is 37. He's 4 years younger than me. He
so they kept the cane on for whatever school he was going to.
Yeah,
I thought it was abolished.
You're right, Chris. Thank you. Yes, well done. They wouldn't have had the cane when he was at school.
Unless he went to a very special school.
A caning school.
Indeed.
Yeah,
there's one thing wrong with that no-nonsense manifesto.
Yeah.
Too many words.
Chris, anything else, or shall I cut you off?
Oh, you can cut me.
There we go. He's right. A better discipline. Kids are too mouthy now, not like when we had the cane. Well, you didn't have the cane, Dan. It's inverted snobbery, isn't it? What she's been accused of doing, whether she did or not, I don't know. What she's been accused of doing, the Sun are now doing, and lots of other news outlets are now doing. We're sneering at her because she lives in well-to-do North London. We're sneering at her because she's got a £3 million house. It's jealousy, isn't it? It's jealousy. Pure and simple. I want to be there. 03453 009956 is the phone number. Your response to the Danifesto. I've got loads more in the papers to go through. We'll talk about it after this. This being the travel news with Kate.
Thank you. Well, there's problems in Lichfield at the moment because of an accident. Now, The A38 is closed northbound between Bassett's Pole Island and Swinfen Island, and the southbound side is also blocked from Swinfen Island through to Weeford Island because of an accident. Looks like it could be ongoing for some time, so I'll keep you updated with the situation there. On the motorways, the M42 northbound still very slow between junction 4 at Shirley through to junction 6 at the NEC. Of course, it's the motorbike show today, their motorcycle live event at the NEC, opening day today, which is causing delays on the southbound side as well. Wolverhampton Road in Albury still very busy southbound at Birchley Island. That's because of the roadworks there. There's various lane closures in place around the island. And in Dudley, watch out for queues on Dudley Southern Bypass westbound, very slow from Blackacre Road through to Cinderbank Island. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 Travel on 08453 00 2288.
Tune in and enjoy the ride.
Plans to build a so-called mega mosque in Dudley have been given the go-ahead. I really want to hear from people in Dudley this morning how you feel about this.
There is a lot of ill feeling towards this, that's going back a long time.
A new hero for mid-mornings.
Right, I want to ask you this morning, do we need to ban smoking in cars carrying children?
It's just not fair on the children. It's really selfish.
Danny Kelly.
That's going to be a very prickly conversation, isn't it? If you are a fat employee, for your boss to say, excuse me, Danny, what's happened? You banged a bit of weight on.
I think it's disgusting, and it's just starting a whole new ball rolling, is it, of people not caring about themselves.
Danny Kelly, weekdays from 9.
BBC WM
95.6.
Now, I said I had 7 sausages this morning, and I feel a little bit, how can I put it delicately? I can't. Windy pops. The buffet breakfast in a hotel. Oh, those solidified scrambled eggs, the beans with the skin on, and those sausages of no fixed meat. Wonderful. The Terminator, monster brekkie, too big, even for truckers. Even for truckers. This has got to be in England because it's got fried slice. England is the only place in the world where you get a fried slice. I like thick brown toast, but it's got to be thin white bread for the fried slice, doesn't it? A cafe is serving a fry-up so huge that no one can finish it. I could have a go with that, though it would kill me. Scores of bodybuilders and truckers have taken on the Terminator Mega Challenge, but all have failed. You ready? Here we go. The monster meal includes 10 sausages, 10 rashers of bacon, 10 fried eggs, 10 tomatoes. I don't get the tomatoes. Why would you put tomatoes in a fried breakfast? I'm getting a little bit queasy even thinking about this, actually. 10 large mushrooms, 10 hash browns, 12 onion rings. Why 12? We've had 10 of everything else so far. Why are we having 12 onion rings? 5 slices of fried bread. Baby, come home. I love it. 5 slices of toast and beans. Hey, let's all go to Kent, to Papa Joe's Caff. It offers the feast for £20 with £10 off to anyone who can clear the plate. It's only 7,500 calories. What's that, a morning's worth? Probably a week's worth. Almost 4 times the daily recommended intake for a man and 512 grams of fat. Owner Sharon Naden, you mean Papa Joe's Caff isn't owned by Papa Joe? Said the person who came close to it was a bodybuilder. He was from Dover. What? But he left 2.5 sausages, 2.5 mushrooms and 1 hash brown on the plate. Oh, what a lightweight. Surely, if you're going to go that far, you might as well finish the rest. You'd be tempted, wouldn't you, to have a pop at that? You would be tempted to have a go at breakfast like that. I don't understand. There are certain things I don't understand in the fried breakfast, and the grilled tomatoes or the fried tomatoes. No. The mushrooms as well. When I was a vegetarian, and I lived in North London, there was a great Turkish cafe that did really good fry-up. If you went for the vegetarian fry-up, though, to replace the meat and bacon, instead of, I don't know, vegetarian sausages or something, they give you salad and coleslaw on the same plate as a fried slice, baked beans, fried egg. I think you did get a veggie sausage as well, actually. They would give you salad and coleslaw? That's just insania. 03453 009956 is the telephone number. Hey, imagine getting 14 grand at the age of 15. Right? You're not inherited it. You worked bloody hard for it. You worked flipping hard for it. That's the sum of money, £14,000 made by a 15-year-old schoolboy in 3 years of running a tuck shop at school. It's a little bit of initiative. But Tommy Rose from Salford is facing suspension from the college because his head teacher believes he's breaching the school's strict healthy eating policy. Oh, for crying out loud. I thought we were supposed to be encouraging young people to get off their flabby backsides and make a difference. Yes, this may be making other young people's backsides even flabbier, but come on. Dragon Den star Duncan Bannatyne, Deborah Mead and Thea Paphitis, they've disagreed with it and they've publicly supported the young lad via Twitter and Facebook. Well, Jamie Dunn is an entrepreneur from Birmingham. Morning, Jamie.
Good morning, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. What do you reckon to this story?
I think it's terrible. I mean, we do a lot of work within schools and colleges, and I think a lot of them trying to support enterprise, and this week in particular has been Global Entrepreneurship Week.
What was that, Jamie? That got a bit gobbled. What is it this week?
So this week is Global Entrepreneurship Week.
OK.
So activities all around the world, and across every single country, has been trying to support entrepreneurship and enterprise skills within young people.
Yeah.
So for this to come out, especially at this topical time, when schools are meant to be supporting this type of movement and these types of skills development, for this to come out, I think has been absolutely terrible. We keep telling young people, and the press keeps getting on the backs of young people saying, get up, try something, learn some new skills, have a go at something, make yourself more employable. But actually, the schools don't want that. The schools don't want kids that are going to go out and be innovative and be different, because it just seems like too much hard work for them.
When did you start making money, Jamie, and start being an entrepreneur?
So, again, similar to the young lad covered in the story, I was doing exactly the same sort of thing as himself. But instead I was doing car boots and market stalls.
Beautiful.
Because, again, similar to the young lad, I was discouraged from school from doing exactly what he has done, albeit I wasn't selling chocolates and sweets, but I was selling CDs and DVDs. But the same rules applied. School didn't want me to do that because at the end of the day, the school isn't judged upon the success of that student in a real world. They're judged upon the piece of paper that they leave when they leave their duty of care.
So what do you think schools should be doing then? How should they handle someone like this who's obviously got a knack, he's got a talent that doesn't fit into the school curriculum?
Yeah, well, I mean, look at it this way. Every school delivers business studies. So every single school, and the aim of a business studies tutor is to enable that young person to learn those business skills to potentially go out and work in a business or even start their own. So instead of discouraging him and saying, oh, look, you shouldn't be doing this, and threatening to expel him, yes, you could argue, and the school will argue, that what he's selling doesn't agree with the health and with the healthy procedures and health policy. But at the end of the day, he's obviously got that raw spark, he's got that talent and that energy. So channel it in a different way and put it into something that's going to be in the school's perspective and the school's kind of point of view. Some of that's going to be positive rather than disagree with their procedures. But the main problem is that all the teachers will look at it and they'll say, oh, well, there isn't time for that in the curriculum, or oh, actually, we're going to have to take him out of extra amount of lessons to give him those particular skills. But in the ever-changing world of work and the economy, we need people like him, and we need to be seen to be supporting that behaviour rather than discouraging it.
It does seem odd. Listen, what are you up to now, Jamie? What are you doing at the moment?
So, again, it was quite interesting because I was live on air with yourselves a couple of weeks ago because I just presented at the Conservative Party main stage following a lot of the MPs there and a lot of the DWP and that sort of stuff that are trying to create more young people like the lad covered in the story. And it's absolutely ludicrous that, again, on one agenda, we're trying to push and promote that type of activity, but on the other side, we're discouraging it. And I think that's what a lot of my work is surrounded doing at the moment. We work with hundreds of schools, colleges and unis in the UK that are trying to create these types of young people. And it's not easy work. But then suddenly, when the young person in this case has that spark, has that energy, they don't want to be encouraging and promoting and supporting that.
Jamie, I appreciate your thoughts this morning. We can open this up to you, dear listener. A, do you support this kid? Of course you do. Yeah, he's selling them sweeties and chocolate and fizzy pop and stuff, but he's made 14 grand in 3 years. It's 15. But I guess the question for you is, how did you make money at school? Well, do you remember Gonch from Grange Hill? It was Gonch, wasn't it? The ginger lad that was always making money. He always had a scheme. What was your scheme? How did you make money when you were at school? I tell you my one. I used to photocopy. I didn't. My mum used to photocopy because she worked in an office. I was 9 years old, 9 and 10. I get her to photocopy pictures of Bruce Lee. I know, it's weird, isn't it? We were really into Bruce Lee at the age of 9, and I'd get her to photocopy loads of pictures. Mum, can you do like 100 copies of this? What? Yeah, go on. What do you want 100 copies for? Oh, nothing. I just like it. And then I'd sell them. A penny for an A4, tuppence for 2 sides. Come on. You know it makes sense. How did you make money, please? 03453 009956. Claire is the apprentice. Claire, I've got 2 surnames for you. Is it Young?
It is Claire Young, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry. I've got 2 names that popped up on my screen, and it's through me. Claire Young, you're the apprentice. You were an apprentice runner-up in 2008. Just for those who don't remember, what were your standout points on The Apprentice?
Alan Sugar nicknamed me a Rottweiler. I think I've made a record that I did 5 boardrooms, and he said, whatever I throw at her, she's clinging on to the ankles like a Rottweiler and not letting go. And I'm probably the only candidate I think he threw out the boardroom for he told me to shut up without firing me. He said, looking at you makes me feel sick, and he gave me a really big dressing down. And then we were in the famous Marrakesh when my Jewish candidate bought the wrong kosher chicken, which lots of people remember. Yeah, 6 years ago now.
What was it? What was it like? I mean, is it really intimidating in that boardroom, or is it all a bit set up for TV, and you're all kind of laughing and slapping Alan Sugar's back?
It doesn't do it justice on TV how tough that boardroom
really?
is. The Apprentice is a game of 2 halves. If you don't perform on the task, you have got to stand your ground in the boardroom. And lots of people, before they go in, are saying, well, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say that. You've got to be a strong character to stick up for yourself. It is a bloodbath, and none of it's staged, none of it's scripted. It's an important lesson for young people. You've got to go out there and promote yourself, and you've got to stick up for yourself, because if not, other people will just come and walk all over you.
You know that cafe that you go to before someone's about to get fired?
Yeah, I was in there a lot.
Yeah, I know you know it quite well. Is that nearby, and is that a real cafe?
It's a real cafe. There's 2 cafes which they use in West London. That's where the boardroom is.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I'd walk in and they already knew what my drink was. I'm back again. But I survived and I got to the final, and fantastic experience.
Yeah, I bet.
And a lot of the work which I do now, such as, talking on the radio, or my business which I work with schools across the country, none of that would have happened without the platform of The Apprentice.
And I think quite often that the people that don't win The Apprentice kind of have the better careers, don't they?
Well, I think for somebody like me, I like having my own autonomy. I like making my own decisions. So I got the best of both worlds. You get the great PR from 11 million people watching you on TV. I've got the support of Alan Sugar. From that final episode, he said, if you ever need my help, and he had a great sense of integrity, and last summer we took 600 students to London because I asked him if he could help me. So you get all of that, and then you get your own freedom to make your own decisions and build your business. But I often work in schools. I've just finished Global Entrepreneurship Week, and in fact I was in Birmingham on Wednesday night and Thursday working with college students. I often get the students where the schools say, well, they're a bit disengaged, they don't really like school. When I get them in a room, they're the ones who are selling the Lucasade, selling the cigarettes, selling the sweets. They are the sort of future Alan Sugars, because they've got that entrepreneurial spirit kicked in.
What do you think to this young lad then? The 15-year-old, he's made 14 grand in 3 years, and there's a chance he might be suspended for selling fizzy pop and sugar, the sugary sweets.
Well, the first thing I thought when I saw the headline, I thought £14,000, he knows what he's doing, because that is a big turnover for any business. I think the government has really got to take a serious look at entrepreneurship in this country, because we are in desperate need of new businesses, and there are lots of schemes for 16 to 24-year-olds to get funding and to get mentors and get help. That's great. But how on earth do you expect young people to know about how to start a business and all the things, business plans, and how to turn your idea into money, when they removed enterprise from the curriculum when the coalition government came in. So if there was a bit more of a structure of a plan, the black market, you're never going to stop it entirely, but maybe this gentleman who's selling sweets and making 14k could actually be running what I would call a proper business with the support of the school. And actually, when he leaves school, he could carry on running that business. He could be, you need people who are going to make money, who are going to create jobs. And I would want to hire somebody like Tommy any day over somebody else who's got maybe 10 GCSEs but hasn't got the get up and go or hasn't got the common sense.
What did you do at school, Claire, to make a few quid? Because I'm guessing you started early. I was selling photocopies of pictures of Bruce Lee. What did you do?
I sold, my first sort of like business was doing ironings for my mum. I did 2 giant bins of ironing for 50p. That was my first experience of doing work in exchange for money.
Yeah.
I sold sweets at junior school. At secondary school, my dad smoked big packets of Benson and Hedges and didn't realise I was sort of like taking some and selling them at school, a single unit.
Fantastic.
And then at university, I used to go to the Canary Islands, buy very cheap cigarettes and bring them back and sell them on the campus.
Perfect.
And I think a lot of people now, a lot of students, they are trading. One student I work with up in Leeds, she makes nearly £40 a day selling cigarettes.
Wow. Which,
And
of course,
she's a
we
year 9
don't
student.
encourage and condone, but fair play to her. That's brilliant.
£200 a week, and that money goes straight back into her mum's household income. She's a contributor to running the house.
Claire, if people want to find out more about you, I'm assuming you've got a website. What is it?
If you Google my name, Claire Young, you can follow me on Twitter, my personal website, and my business is School Speakers. So
Brilliant.
I've got just under 300 people working all over the country, working with students.
Nice one. Brilliant. Nice to talk to you. Thank you very much, Claire. Thank you very much. There we go. That's Claire Young. 03453 009956. Oh, hang on a second. Frank?
Yes, go on.
You own the cafe from The Apprentice, do you?
That's it, yes.
Really?
Yeah, we've been here 52 years.
Blimey.
I'm an old man now, unfortunately.
Listen, we're all getting there, brother.
Yeah.
How did the BBC approach you about using your cafe?
Well, it's not really the BBC, it's Talkback 10.
Oh, OK, go on.
Yeah, what's that? Hang on.
What's going on?
I don't know, something just went off then. Someone just mucking about. Go on, it's all right.
Well, yeah, what? They're not firing guns in there, are they?
No, it's not a gun. No.
Okay,
Someone just busted a can.
Did you know it was going to be such an iconic cafe?
Not really, because it took a few years before it caught on, didn't it? About 3 years before they realised it was here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you get people coming in saying, "Hey, is this the cafe where they do The Apprentice?"
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah. We've had people in today already. Yeah. People are very keen on it.
Wow. Do you ever get to meet Anna Sugar? Does he ever pop in?
No. We only get the losers in here, don't we? Yeah. The people, the losers cafe. That's what it's called.
Well, that's the thing.
The reason they use us is his office is just round the corner.
Right.
It's in Duke's studio around there.
Yeah.
Duke's Island, yeah.
Listen, give the cat. Where is it, Frank? If people want to come and feel like losers, but eat some good food, I'd imagine. Whereabouts?
It's the Bridge Cafe, Westfields Road, Acton West 3, OAP there. Okay.
And what's the thing? Just one final question, Frank. I love a fried breakfast. I love a fried slice. It's a dying art. What the tomato in the fried breakfast? What's that all about?
The tomato?
Yeah, the grilled or the fried tomato. It's horrible.
Oh, you've tried it, have you?
Yeah, well, not yours necessarily. Just in general, it's a weird thing to put in a breakfast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Frank,
well, I can't really answer that.
Frank, thank you.
Why they put it in, I don't know.
We'll let you go. Thank you very much, Frank. We're all going down to that cafe. Who wants to jump in the car and come with me? Guys?
Darlaston,
Edgbaston,
Erdington,
Paisley, Gornal Wood. Have your say across the West Midlands.
BBC WM
95.6.
I'll be honest, we've got 30 minutes of the show left and 0 callers. So, I'm not, I'm just saying, if you wanted to call, now would be an excellent time to do it. 03453 009956. Gimp Mask Ball. I think it's supposed to sound like Christmas. Cops are called to students' S&M party. What? This was the scene uncovered by police who raided a bondage party for 250 kinky students. Why did this never happen when I was at college? The only parties I remember going to were really boring ones where someone passed a really weak joint. In fact, there probably wasn't even any weed in it. It was just a roll-up. and some drippy idiot sat around playing Oasis songs on a guitar. We didn't have bondage parties when I was at college. The S&M Spectacular. There was an S&M Spectacular. Was inspired by the racy erotic novel 50 Shades of Grey. Is that book still a thing? Are people still reading that? The building was... imagine being a student, right? Hey, do you fancy going to the party tonight? Nah. The girls are throwing a party? Nah. Oh, go on, it'll be good. Nah, I don't fancy it. All right, then. Then you read about it the next day. What was the party like? Well... the building was crammed with girls in skimpy PVC outfits with stockings and suspenders. What? Yeah, the party. Men wore masks and were carrying whips and bondage tape. The detectives were even shown round by a man in a gimp costume. The officers were called by neighbours moaning about noise. Moaning about the moaning, no doubt. From a terraced house in Newcastle. It was Newcastle. Do you remember Newcastle Brown Ale was a thing? Probably about 1988 to about 1991, Newcastle Brown Ale was the drink of youngsters. And yet, I remember it tasting horrible. That and Grolsch. What's the drink? Nev, what's the drink of choice these days?
I think it's Carling for most people, but I'm not a drinker, really big drinker. Carling.
Students are going around drinking Carling Black Label?
Something like that.
Because in my day, it was sort of just before my day. It was a Snakebite and Black, and I never quite knew what that was. It wasn't that Guinness and Blackcurrant or something.
That is what it's called. Yeah, that Guinness Blackcurrant.
Okay,
yeah.
And then there was and then it was Nuki Brown, and then Grolsch for a while. Hey, have you ever had Nigerian Guinness?
Oh yes, yeah.
Is it true?
It's usually the better one. Irish between the one that is made in Ireland.
I remember. Is it
Africa.
Is it true what they say about it?
That
it gives you I had a cab driver once who said, you've got to try Nigerian Guinness because you will be... How can I put this delicately? I can't. You'll be at it all night. Is that true, Nev?
Well, not to my knowledge, but I do believe, like, the older men in my time, they used to drink it with egg and milk, mixed egg, milk and Guinness. And it gives power for performance.
Egg, milk and Guinness?
Yeah.
So, but in between throwing up, you're ready to have... Did you... I don't know if you were young, but I know you were young one day, but did you ever, as a youngster, get invited to a bondage party for 250 kinky students?
No, I wasn't even... No, not into my culture. No,
never been to an S&M Spectacular?
No.
The building was crammed with girls in skimpy PVC outfits with stockings and suspenders.
No, not my time.
The
not
thing
my
we
culture.
had at my college, right, and I hated this because it was... Why would you do this? Foam parties were a thing for a while. So what would happen is you'd all be like at a rubbish disco. Here comes the foam, everybody, look out, here comes the foam. And then they just pump loads of foam into where you're having the disco. But the thing is, the place was quite dirty because it was a dirty dance floor. Not like Dirty Dancing, but it was dance floor was dirty.
Oh, no John Travolta.
There was no John Travolta. There was no Patrick Swayze. There was none of that. So you then have dirty foam all over you, ruining your clothes.
Oh.
Horrible.
No good.
Anyway, what would you like to say?
Yes, with that sidekick thing there, or whatever they call it.
The psychic thing, yes.
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm not into it. No, I'm going to tell you what you want to do.
Yes, what do I want?
3 guesses.
Go on. Oh, OK, little game. I like this.
You want to bet?
Yeah, let's have a bet.
OK. You want to drink some water.
Mm-hmm.
Am I not right?
Do I want to drink water? No, I just had a sip.
I'm going to tell you what you want to do in 3 guesses.
What I'm
the first one is...
Yes, what I want to do...
You want to drink some water.
OK.
Am I right?
I just had a sip of coffee.
No, I'm telling you, you want to drink some water. Is that right?
I'm going to, or I want to.
You want to, because I'm going to tell you what you want to do in 3 guesses.
I don't want to drink water now.
Okay. So I have 2 guesses left, yeah?
Yeah.
You want to laugh.
I want to do something. It's not laughing.
Okay. Well, I got 1 guess left, yeah?
Yes, Nev.
I better be right now.
You better be right. Where is this going?
You want to win me. You want to win the bet, don't you?
I want to win you? What,
yeah.
and take you home and put you on my...
I'm betting you I can tell you what you want to do. You want to win.
You said I want to win me. Yeah, I do want to win, Nev. Hey,
yeah, so that's all it is.
How did you do that, man? That was awesome, Nev.
No, it's just
how did you do that? You read my mind.
Thing, you know?
I can feel you inside my body.
You want to win me, that's all it is.
I want to win you, Nev.
Yeah, you want to win the bet. We all bet to win. We all want to win, that's our bet. So the other 2 was just, peripheral, whatever. But, the sidekick, I tell you what about this sidekick. Quickly again.
Yes.
There was somebody whose house was being stoned, yeah?
You were stoned when?
No, somebody's house was being stoned. They throw, boulders on the house top.
Yeah.
And in the night, they hear big stone dropping on the house. They come out in the morning, no stones on the ground.
Yeah.
And somebody say, I can take it to a sidekick or whatever, call them, whatever.
Yeah, it's psychic. A sidekick is someone like Robin.
No, they're people who can perform that they know this and they know that.
Psychics.
Psychic, yeah.
Psychics.
Yes.
Psychics.
So they say, I can take it to somebody who, fortune teller, whatever they call them. And they will tell you what is happening to you,
Yes.
And you can pay a bit of money. And when the person went, before they reached to the door,
the
person comes out and say, "Oh, you're here, Tom, John Brown, whatever."
Yes.
Where
is this going?
Somebody's stone in your house. I said, how did he know? Wow. And they throw you hear the stones on the top of your house, and when you come in the morning...
Nev, I've got no idea what you're banging on about now.
No, the thing that people say, all right, that's...
I think I am stoned.
Somebody's...
What?
People hear stones in the house in the night, someone.
Yes, I did just win him, Deb. I did just win him. Yes, go on, yes.
Yeah, and when he gets in the morning...
Yeah, he goes to a psychic, and there are stones at the house.
That's what was happening to somebody knocking and, the house stuff.
Is this a true story or a joke? Because remember, I did win you.
No, it's a true thing. True. That's to show you what happens with people.
Okay.
When they wake up in the morning, there's no stone on the ground, but they hear stone falling on the roof.
Okay.
And somebody, I know you can take it to somebody who can tell you what's happening, and they know. When they reach, the person was able to say to them, "Oh, John Brown, I know, why you're here is that somebody's stoning you, throwing house stone on your roof." I said, how did he know? Well, he's a good person. How did he know? He's great. And I tell you what? I'm going to charge you a bit of money, X, Y, Z, and so on. And then, he went home, and nothing happened again.
Ken, have you got any idea what Nev's talking about?
At the moment, no.
Okay, all right.
When he went home, nothing happened again. All it is, the person who took him to that person, they told him the story before.
Oh.
And they throw ice. Blocks of ice on the house.
Ice.
When it dropped on the ground, it melted.
Ice, baby. Ken, it was ice. They weren't stones.
No, ice. So it melted, so it didn't see any stones on the ground.
Ken,
but that person tell the psychic the name, and where they live, and what's happening.
The ice. Kev, Nev, stay there. Ken, what do you want to say?
Yeah, with psychics, it's the way they ask the question, or how they ask the question and your response. I'm going to ask you the same question twice to the presenter. The first time I ask you, I want you to tell me no.
Okay.
And the second time I ask...
Can you do it to Nev? Do it to Nev.
All right, Nev.
Yeah?
I'm going to ask you a question, and the first time I ask you, I want you just to say no.
Okay.
Wait for my response, and then I'll give you the question again, and I want you to answer yes.
Okay.
Okay? Right, Nev. You don't work with children, do you?
No.
I didn't think you did. Now I'm going to ask a question again. Nev, you don't work for children, do you?
Yes.
I thought you did. You see what I mean?
Hang on. Nev, Nev, do you work with children?
No.
Nev, do you work with children?
No.
Nev, do you work with children?
No.
So does he work with children, Ken? I'm confused.
No. What I'm trying to say is, it's a psychic. It tries to get into to tell you what you are doing or what you're about.
Who works with children? I'm so confused. And what's this got to do with ice stones?
No, I'm not on about ice stones. I'm on about psychic.
What is going on? Well, I'm really glad you've cleared things up, guys. Huh? What just happened there? Have I fallen asleep on the job? Let's get the travel news now. Here's Kate.
Thank you. Well, problems in Lichfield. The A38 is closed near Swinfen Island because of an accident. The northbound side is closed between Bassett's Pole Island and Swinfen Island, and the southbound side has been closed from Swinfen through to Weeford Island. The air ambulance has been there at the scene. It looks like it could be closed for some time, and it is causing heavy traffic in both directions. Definitely one to avoid. The M6 southbound, there's one lane closed between junctions 15 and 14 at Stafford North. That's because of an accident with lane 1 closed, but traffic's coping pretty well at the moment. M42 still very slow northbound from junction 4 at Shirley through to junction 6 at the NEC because of the motorcycle live event there today. And Hagley looking busy on Kidderminster Road south now on the eastbound side. That's busy between Worcester Road and Park Road through the roadworks area. In Albury, we've still got those long queues southbound at Birchley Island, again because of roadworks. There's various lane closures in place around the island. And through Dudley, you'll hit the queues on Dudley's Southern Bypass on the westbound side between Blackacre Road and Cinderbank Island. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 Travel on 08453 002288.
November 21st, 1974.
The theatre shook and our seats shook and there was a deep rumbling, you know.
The Birmingham pub bombings killed 21 people. 200 more were injured.
During the film, there was the incredible sound of what we thought was thunder, and the whole building shook.
By now I could hear a million sirens outside. It sounded like chaos.
The Birmingham pub bombings, 40 years on.
I just remember being lifted from the seat and then just the noise, the screams.
Listen again online at bbc.co.uk/WM.
03453 009956. If anybody can explain the last 10 minutes, then please don't. Simon's on the line. Good morning, Simon.
Morning, mate.
What have you got for us?
I was just hearing about your entrepreneurs and what people do at school, you know, to make some money.
How did you make a few quid at school?
Well, number one, I made pencil cases and sold them.
What did you make pencil cases out of?
Leather, mainly.
What, like proper pencil cases? Were you a leather... What do they call them? A leather master? No, a dungeon master.
My old man was a surgical technologist, so he used to make all sorts of walking aids and made shoes up and stuff, you know, for the people with shorter legs and what have you.
I love those shoes, yeah.
So he used to get me a load of leather. So I used to just sit there and sew them up, whack a zip in them, away you go.
That's quite interesting. How much did you sell your leather pencil cases for?
Oh, only about £1 a time, something like that.
That's a bit of skill involved there. All right, so you did that. What else?
I mean, I'm going back a good few years now. I also had a paper round, also had a milk round, and I also had a car cleaning round on a Saturday.
You had what on the Saturday, sorry?
Car cleaning round.
Oh, okay. Proper hard work.
Yeah, but I was saving up to buy my first motorcycle. Because your parents are typical parents. Yeah, I'll help you buy a car, but I won't help you buy a bike.
One of my first jobs was doing those godforsaken free paper rounds. I used to get...
I did one of them and all,
I used to get halfpenny a paper.
Yeah.
A halfpenny per paper. Flipping heck, I'm old.
There's...
Used to dump them in the bushes.
I think mine was about 11 quid. A week or something.
Yeah, rubbish. Simon, thank you for that. The free newspaper round, hellish. A halfpenny a paper. It was the most back-breaking job, and you get Oi! We don't want this. Take this away. Don't deliver it again. So you didn't have to remember which houses you weren't supposed to deliver to. And then the slave masters would then go around every few months knocking on the door. Have you had one of these free newspapers? No. And I'd get in trouble. Oh, it's an awful, awful job. Halfpenny a paper, Roger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hello. Can they hear me when their faders are turned down? It would appear not. Roger, what have you got for us?
What have I got for you? On Charles.
You're Charles?
I'm Charles, if you like, Prince Charles.
You're Prince...
Talking about Prince Charles.
You're Prince Charles.
I wish I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a decent all-round guy, actually.
Are you interested in what he has to say, though?
Yeah, I am. I'm interested in his farming, in the way he farms.
How does he farm?
How he farms. He farms organically. He farms indigenous cattle. He farms. He keeps a good poultry shed. And
I don't know what a good poultry shed is.
No, well, if you see me, you might do.
Oh.
And anyway, the thing about it is, I like his ideas on architecture, but of course, I was brought up in the Betjeman era when we had that man exposing his views on television. And
who was exposing themselves on television?
Betjeman. His views on architecture.
John Betjeman?
Yeah.
Come friendly bombs and rain on Slough.
Yeah.
I used to live in Slough, and I'd agree with that.
Yeah, a lovely guy. And the thing about it is, the way I look at it, Ian.
Yes.
We're not celebrating. We're thinking about the Great War, the 1914-18 war this year.
Yes.
And my grandfather was on it, like millions more were on it. And he went out at Crossman and he come back a gassed and shell shot wreck. And I think the way we have trashed this country, that our own lads fought for, and let's not forget the other people that fought.
Yeah.
And the fact remains that if Hitler had took notice of his generals and come for us instead of Russia, we may not be talking here now. That is the thing. And the way the country's been trashed over recent years by various governments, all for the growth, got to grow. You can't keep growing forever. And in the process of growth, we're destroying our small island, where other people, I believe, are looking after theirs a little bit more than we are.
Roger, thank you very much indeed. I want to go to speak to Daz in a bit and find out exactly where he is this morning, the slacker. But before that, let's go to Paul. Good morning, Paul.
Enjoy the show.
I think we're just about getting away with it today.
Well, just about getting away. I got two lovely cats because I'm from the rescue centre, but they just had a row with each other.
Oh, really? Really?
And they're two women.
Oh, well, there you go, you see.
Enjoy your show.
Thank you. Do your cats... go on.
Go on. Just can I ask... Go on. Do you ask me about the cats? Well,
do your cats sit in... If you put a circle around your cat, would he stay in that... Would she stay in that circle?
I don't know. I've never tried it. I've never heard of that beforehand.
No, I've never heard that as well.
I'll tell you who mentioned it, Molly Green.
Yeah.
Molly Green.
She loves animals.
It was in the paper the other day, so a national paper showed a cat in a circle.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's the story.
Was it in the magic circle?
It could be. It could be. Go on, what else you got? Because Daz is getting impatient, aren't you, Daz?
Quickly.
Daz, Paul. Paul.
Yeah?
Say hello to Daz.
Hello, Daz.
Hello, Paul.
How are you?
If you're talking cats, you know, I had to look after my brother's cats a couple of years ago, and they just wouldn't bond with me, and I just couldn't. No, but I was looking after him. He was on holiday, and you know, like when you get a relationship with an animal, it just wouldn't bond with me. I phoned him up. He said, "What you want to do is don't have a shave for about 3 days and get stubble." It's right, yeah. And so I didn't have a shave, and by the end of the week, they were all over me. Apparently, it's because 8 out of 10 cats prefer whiskers.
I know they do.
Flipping it every week.
That was a razor-cutting joke, that was.
It was a shocking joke, I'll tell you that. Well, Paul, you can talk for as long as you want, because I'm not bothered if Daz comes on or not now. Tell Daz your story, because this is really good fun.
Was that the imperfect joke?
Yeah, I'm flipping it. Paul, just tell Daz what you were going to say, because I'm getting bored now.
Well, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Thanks very much for calling. Daz!
Yes.
Where are you this morning, boss?
I'm at Molyneux. Early kick-off from midday today. Obviously, we're out and about the football grounds every Saturday, building up to the big games. Today, on the agenda, we're going to be talking about proper footballing hard men, not these namby-pambies you get these days, because you can't even make a tackle these days or look at someone in a funny way without getting a yellow card. So, proper football hard men.
What you don't get now, Daz, and as you know, I can't stand football. I think it's awful. But in the 70s, when football used to be on, you don't get like really muddy pitches now. Have they got like magic grass that means it doesn't get muddy?
Well, a lot of them are actually changing over in other countries to like this 3G stuff, which is like an artificial. Yeah, it's like
3G grass,
something like that. Yeah,
what? It can connect to the internet.
So that's exactly right. Yeah,
and you don't. You used to be really muddy, and everyone would be filthy at the end of the match, right? And you don't get the. Are they banned from doing the sliding tackles now?
Well, you can't touch anyone these days. They're like snooker tables these days. So we're talking about footballing hard men. That's because Psycho's here today. Stuart Pearce.
I love it when Daz has got bored of what I'm saying and he tries to carry on and move on to what he wants to.
And footballers you've seen out and about, you see, because also a friend of mine saw the old Villa captain Dennis Mortimer in the supermarket in Lichfield the other day. So footballers you've seen out and about, whether shopping or on holiday or in the pub or in the restaurants. I mean, it's a shame Peter Stringfellow isn't a footballer, because you could have thrown him into the hat.
Yeah, exactly. We saw actual Stringy in London the other day. It was well exciting. I wouldn't recognise a football. Hey, have I told you this? My cousin, second cousin, used to play for Chelsea.
No.
This is absolutely true. He used to play for Aberdeen, and then he came down for Chelsea for one season, Doogie Rugby.
Yeah. Is that your cousin? Second cousin?
I think it's my second cousin. Yeah, it's my dad's cousin, whatever that makes him. But he got sent back for being too aggressive.
You see, proper hard men.
Yeah, don't mess with me, Daz. I'm quite hard.
Well, Alan Carr's dad, Graham Carr, used to be manager of Northampton Town. Now, they must be chalk and cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
Alan and Graham.
Daz, nice to talk to you.
You too.
See you later on. Ta-ta. Now, listen, it was Petula Clark's birthday this week. Petula Clark, 82 years old. And she's still got it, guys. There was a special Petula Clark birthday concert this week where she performed downtown live for the first time in 15 years. Here's a BBC WM 95.6 exclusive.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown. You've got worries and all the noise and the hurry seem to help, I know. Downtown, just listen to the music of the traffic in the city. Linger on the sidewalk where the neon signs are pretty. How can you lose? The lights are much brighter there. You can forget all your troubles, forget all your cares. Go downtown, things will be great when you're downtown. No finer place for sure. Downtown, everything's waiting for you. Don't hang around and let your problems surround you. There are movie shows downtown. Maybe you know some little places to go where they never close. Downtown, just listen to the rhythm of a gentle bossa nova. You'll be dancing with them too before the night is over. Happy again. The lights are much brighter there. You can forget all your troubles, forget all your cares. So go downtown, where all the lights are bright. Downtown, waiting for you tonight. Downtown, you're gonna be all right now.
Petula Clark, 82 this week, and she's still got it, guys. That's it. That's your lot from me. If you want to send me an email in the week, you can. Iain, IAIN.LEE@bbc.co.uk. Send nice ones. I've got quite a few nasty ones this week. I can't be bothered. Back on Friday afternoon, 2 till 4, and next Saturday at 9. Stick around, though, because Daz is coming up next. Ta-ta.
The 2014 BBC Local Radio Station of the Year.
BBC WM 95.6.
So on the way next then, we begin our build-up to all of today's big games in early kick-off with me, Daz Hale. I want your calls about the footballing hard men of yesteryear. Who are the ultimate tough guys? And any footballers you've seen out and about, maybe down the shops, in a restaurant, in the pub, on holiday. Give us your calls. Tell us your stories. 03453 00 9956. First, though, with the news at midday, here's Nicole Paul.